broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system planet Earth, North America, the United States of America. No longer California, Los Angeles, to be pseudo-specific. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. And this right here that you are watching is called the TNAM Daily Show, right here on the new American media, because the old American media has failed you. On today's program, we're going to discuss, is the silly Schumer shutdown about to end? Are the Dems finally ready to admit that this was a colossal mistake, a giant waste of time, a counterproductive overreaction from Schumer and Jeffries? The flailing, thrashing about of a party who's been discredited, stripped of power? We're going to ask these questions. We're going to look around at what this No Kings protest taught us. The tolerant left. My arse. A-R-S-E. I tells you. We're going to talk about that. Also, what's going on with this EBT Crashout? You're seeing lots of EBT Crashout. What is that? I turned the volume down. There we go. What is that all about? You're seeing all these EBT Crashout videos and warnings. I'm going to steal. I'm going to attack you. I will end you if you don't let me get free stuff. Video after video after video after video. It's all kind of happening right now. And we're going to discuss it on the TNAM Daily Show. So buckle up, grab your beverage, and join us for today's action as we rifle through the rubbish, separate fake news from fact, and figure out, at least try to figure out what's going on in this crazy, mixed up world. So let's dive right into today's TNAM Daily Show, brought to you by the New American Media.
Guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for being here. Ooh, that is exactly the visual I was hoping you were going to get. Jumping back into the screen. All right. Whew. What a day, what a week, what a year, what a life. Let's jump into the news, shall we? I could give you a opening intro, an opening salvo. But I think what I should do is give you the news instead. Let's get the chats up here. Hello, John. Hello, everybody else finding their way into the TNAM Daily Show here today. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Friendly reminder, Super Chats and Rumble Rants are available for everybody. If you're enjoying the program and if you want to support independent journalism, We've been doing this for 14 and a half years. So I think we're just warming up with this beta test. I've called it a multi-year beta test. I've said that multiple occasions. And that is the truth of it all. To do something like this, it sort of takes a budget and a team. And, putting the pieces together. Been showing you what we're capable of in small bursts, in bite-sized doses. And we're ready to keep going, ready to expand, ready to grow, ready to do more. Looking for the right teammates for that. We have some interesting meetings coming up. I'll keep you posted if anything interesting develops there. All right, let's look at the news here. Does anyone need a new security camera system now? Hey, neighbor, did you know that Ring cameras recently announced they're going to start tracking everyone's face prints against their will? Let's look this one up on Grok, shall we? Ring cameras, facial imaging. Let me see if I'm using the right prompt. What is this? Tracking face print? It's like a fingerprint, but a face print. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm getting an update that there's a rant that worked. Let me check this. How does this work? Let's see if that shows up in the comments. Oh, look at that. This thing is on. Oh my gosh, John, this thing is on. Here we go. Special thanks to Patriot Warrior Texas. Will forever be the first Rumble rant. But this is the bar. I've been your bartender for a lot of years. I've served a lot of you in a lot of different places. A lot of years. And the tip jars are out. Oh, let me put the other tip jars out in the captions. Where's it at? TNAM donation links scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Rumble rants, super chats. Patreon, Rumble, and YouTube have subscriptions now, memberships, or whatever they want to call it. It's hard to keep track. There's so many different terms that we use, but yeah, look at that. This thing is on. You've had difficulties, right? About time that it went through. How many failure messages did you have? You said you've tried this multiple times. Okay, well, that's good. Now we know it's working. That's a huge boost. And it's a huge boost, we need to grow let me give you an update on growing the program. We were only 200 and something. We were 289 hours, public watch hours away from enabling another tip jar on YouTube with 1,600 videos over 14 years. I'm sorry, 1,900 videos over 14 years, 6,500 subscribers. Trying to get our advertisements re-enabled on the channel. So as of yesterday, we needed 289 public watch hours. And then as of today, so that was 289. Let me hit refresh. Because it was a big deal to get super chats and memberships on YouTube. It was good to get that again. Now we are 271. So we need 271 valid public watch hours in order to get advertisements enabled again. Yeah, YouTube really took the hammer to us, took the screws to us. Really punished independent media during the Obama years, the Obama reign of terror. You can call it that. I mean, the stuff that they attacked, that administration, it cannot be understated. And as you see, Brennan has been referred for criminal indictment. Comey has been indicted. Bolton has been indicted. I think I'm keeping track of all these. They all start to blur together, like all the fake attempts to take Trump out, all of the lawfare that was used, all of the treasonous coup activity that they were doing. That was all criminality. You don't just get to do that because you steal the seat of power. There will be repercussions for that. So, yeah, the Obama damage done is so massive. It's hard to even put into words, but we're close. We tested the YouTube thing by saying, hey, can we get super chats? Can we get memberships? All right, yes, we can. Now, we don't technically have a first membership, so I haven't fully tested that YouTube is working with a membership. I think that's also something you can do for $5 a month, I believe. But yeah, the super chats, I can click and see all of them. Special thanks to Kenneth and John and Deb and Sam and all sorts of people. Thank you all. Danette. Super thank you for the super chats. But yeah, now we need to chart that as it goes into the account for the first time. All right. But here, I want to do a question here about ring. Let's see. Ring face print of all of us. Why? Familiar faces feature using facial recognition to create face prints, digital biometric profiles. This according to Grok, for people detected by Ring cameras. And why this applies to all of us. Launched in 25 with the familiar faces feature, generates face prints to identify and tag individuals in video footage for personalized security alerts. Here's why and how it involves all of us. It says, if you opt in, everyone in view, Ring cameras scan and attempt to create face prints for anyone who appears in the footage, not just enrolled users. Neighbors, delivery workers, passersby, uninvited visitors without their explicit consent. Only enrolled faces added by the user trigger named alerts. Non-enrolled faces are still scanned and stored temporarily, sure they are, as face prints to compare against your database, but they're labeled as unknown unless you tag them. Privacy concerns. There's lack of consent, data security, being stored in the Amazon cloud, which is vulnerable to hacks or misuse. Bias risks. You can misidentify people. Past controversies, history of police partnerships, which ended in 24. Fueled it. History of police partnerships, fueling distrust about how face prints might be used. So this was an alarm. This was a warning put out here from Peter Feliciano. Jason Bassler says, Big Brother just got an upgrade. Starting December, Amazon's Ring cameras will scan and recognize faces. Don't want to be in their database? Too bad. Walk past a Ring and your face can be stored, tagged, and analyzed without consent. One step closer to total surveillance. The Post reported that the feature is optional for Ring device owners, but privacy advocates still aren't thrilled since the people being recorded aren't able to consent to it. While you might already use facial recognition in some of your tech, like unlocking your phone, the Ring poses additional risks because of its history of social privacy and legal questions. The Post wrote. That's because the difference here is that you're choosing to use facial recognition to unlock your phone. The food delivery workers and kids playing on the street aren't making that choice with your doorbell camera. Ring says it doesn't use facial recognition, but it has a head of face recognition research. What? This is from 2019. More than 10 million Ring doorbells have been installed worldwide, and BuzzFeed News found evidence that the company is working to develop facial recognition technology for its devices in Ukraine. Huh. Ukraine. Now, why Ukraine? Oh, peel back the layers of the onion on Ukraine. Yeah, this does ring true, doesn't it, Kenneth? This does ring true. Hello, Kenneth. Thank you for being here. Revolt News says Ring doorbell will allow law enforcement to access camera footage without warrants. The founder says it will make neighborhoods safer. What? I'm second guessing my Ring. Amazon Ring security cameras moving deeper into law enforcement with flock safety and Axon deals. It's so cool that there's a camera and a microphone at my house that connects to my phone. And there it is. They're cutting them down. The recognition cameras that have been installed. And cutting them down. I understand why people would want to see everything that's going on, and I would understand why people wouldn't want. They just partnered with Flock. Who is Flock? Who is Flock? All right. Well, look, we dump all the news out, and we're going to talk about it all. Ukraine and the membrane. Ukraine and the brain. By the way, there's more hints, more rumblings that we may be getting closer to a Ukrainian peace deal. Fingers crossed. I hate what's happening over there. So there's a question of the day. Do you have Ring security camera? Do you have a similar system? Do you have a hardwired system? What is your system? Do you have anything? Do you want to change it to something else? Does this concern you? Thoughts on security systems in general and the Ring cameras in general? I don't think being in this global database is a solid plan. I like being able to see what's going on at my doors and other locations, by the way. Thanks, Ive says they want to put us into a stream or something. Okay, I don't know what any of that means. Can you just do it? Yes, add us to whatever. Let's boost our numbers. I don't know what all that Discord stuff means, but sure, please do it. Just as a favor to someone that doesn't know what they're doing on Discord. Thank you. All right, so Stephen Colbert, Bill D'Agostino says, here we have a comedian warning a former Biden official that if she encourages too many people to think for themselves, she might hurt the Democrat Party. On a public broadcasting license, courtesy of the U.S. government, mind you.
Recommend everyone leave the party, and if so, where do they go? Because organization is how you face tyranny. Freelancing isn't going to get anybody anything done.
So here's the thing.
Freelancing doesn't get anything done? Tyranny. What tyranny? The tyranny of the Democrats? Yeah, you leave the tyrannical party that forced you out of your jobs. They're trying to grab your children and confuse them about who they are and how they were born, and to give them medicine without your consent. They're saying you can't work, you can't travel, you can't do anything unless you stick this thing inside you like a date rapist. Or worse, even, well, I mean, it's all worse. Like Harvey Weinstein. Stick this in you if you want to work. You won't work in this town. It's the mark of the beast. I don't know how Harvey Weinstein talks, but I assume it's like this. Like a gravelly bad guy from a bad cop television show from the early 90s. Think NYPD Blue. Although soon if they put the communist in there, it'll be NYPD Red. Ooh, that's a good skit. I could do NYPD Red. Comey Mamdani. Ooh, NYPD Red. Ooh, that's a good skit right there. I don't think I would bring in Bobby Kennedy for that particular project, but it is one of my most fun accents impersonations that I like to do. Maybe there's a reoccurring role. He could be like the coroner or something. He could say maybe it was the petroleum-based food dyes that maybe led to the demise of the decapitated torso. That's actually kind of funny too. Thanks for coming in, police chief. Yes, we found this. Oh, I can see it now. NYPD Run. But for some reason, the Law and Order, bum bum. Like, that's the sound that's in my head. I know that's not NYPD Blue. I loved watching NYPD Blue and Law and Order, by the way. I think this is like the kernel of a really good sketch here. I wrote it down, which means maybe I'll look at it again. All right. So Stephen Colbert is saying, well, you can't leave the Democrat Party and freelance. Nothing will get done that way. Well, the Democrat Party left us.
I'm not telling everybody to be an independent. I'm trying to start a conversation. I'm not saying.
She keeps saying that. I'm starting to start a conversation. It's the most generic, bland thing you could say. Now, maybe that's what Charlie Kirk said too, and maybe he was praised for that. But in her context, it's so bland. It's so bland. We're trying to start a conversation. I've heard her say this multiple occasions. She's out doing a press tour. It was so nice. By the way, people, it's been almost a year since we had to deal with this lady. How nice has it been now that you get to hear her talk and you're reminded of who she is and who she isn't? How nice has it been getting a break from Karine Jean-Pierre? It's been glorious. And she's still out there lying about Biden's mental acuity and everything else. Not shocking, but noteworthy, I suppose.
Saying that we need a third party. I am saying that right now the two-party system is not working.
A lot of people are dissatisfied. A lot of Democrats or people who identify as Democrats are dissatisfied with the party right now. Where do you think the major failures? What are they not doing?
Well, right now in this moment, which is why I actually wrote the book, to give people a roadmap. I don't think there's any teeth. There's no fight. Where's the soul? And when I left the Democratic Party, when I left the administration this year on January 20th of this year, I was just minding my business, going to the supermarket, going to pick up my kid, going to the coffee shop, and people would come up to me in tears, most of them, and would say to me, what's happening? Why is the Democratic leadership not fighting?
Yeah, they fought nonstop against common sense, sanity, mathematics, biology, freedom, liberty. Oh, the Democrats fought. They just fought the wrong thing.
Happening. We need more. How are we going to get out of this? And I talk about that in the book. And that's what created for me an opportunity as a private citizen now to say, okay, how do we focus on where we are today? How do we move forward? And what's a roadmap that people can follow to get engaged? I think it's really important to get involved and to get engaged. And that's what this book is.
Just so generic. Get involved, get engaged, start the conversation. It's just, it's word salad. She's saying a lot without saying a damn thing. Zero substance to all of this. It's very Kamala-esque. Talk a lot, say nothing. Whoop, where'd it go?
Do you recommend?
All right. So we said, oh, the Democrats fought all right. They fought against sanity, biology, mathematics, freedom, liberty, and everything in the other common sense. In the other common sense matters that made them so unpopular. There we go. There's a comment. It's a little wordy, but I think it's apt. Karine Jean-Pierre. How do you like her new hair? Karine Jean-Pierre with the new hair. That rhymes. The comments here. People came to her for advice? I don't think so. Colbert's last show couldn't come soon enough. Not a single thing was said here. MAGA party is working great. Yeah, that's a third party. Yeah, and that's actually a good comment. Let me expand on that. MAGA is essentially a third party that had to first defeat the corrupt rhinos in the Republican Party, then defeat the deep state Democrats as well. The MAGA third party is working swimmingly. Looks like she put on a few pounds. Yep. Maybe a little bit there. Looks like she had some work done too. Maybe that's part of it. She had some work done. The cheeks and the eyes and something's off. The big forehead and the very different hair. She almost looks bald. How am I going to mop my floor with that hair? Yeah, Adam Carolla was talking about how like he kind of had a thing for her when she had short hair. Like short hair doesn't really work for a lot of people, but it kind of did for her. People called her Sideshow Bob. With a very, very not distinguished, discernible. What am I looking for? It was one of the calling cards. It was one of her major things. To see her outside of that hairdo it is jarring. It is jarring. Yeah, she talked a lot there and had not much to say. Stevie Wonder's roadmap is better than the KJP roadmap. Yeah, you did fight for your horrible policies. The majority of Americans rejected your policies. Yeah, it's a staged monologue she's repeated on her book promoting tour. Yeah, I've heard the same talking points. She still doesn't have a clue. It isn't that the Democrats don't fight. It's that they fight for stuff 70% of the Americans disagree with. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Actually, there's one party that's working, and that's why yours was voted out in a landslide. Fighting for what? Please explain. Or is it just fighting against? Yeah, anyway. Karine Jean-Pierre. I hear your voice. Miss Muckraker has some story. Oh, is this just one story? I thought there's like usually a bunch. Representative Thomas Massie has called for banning the U.S. government from using propaganda on the American people. Isn't it wild that we have to legally stop our government from manipulating us? Reverse Smith Mundit immediately. Obama did that. I'll do hashtag thanks Obama. Thanks Obama. All right. Are you keeping track of the Charlie Kirk situation? I'm not going to let it go. I'm not letting it go. I am never going to let it go. I feel like we're being lied to.
That if they try to make the
this is Alex Jones.
Charlie Kirk so-called assassin trial secretive, then you know for sure the official story is not true. And I said it'll take some time. I said it doesn't look good in the first few days. There was all sorts of theories that turned out to not be true. There was lots of jumping to conclusions before there was evidence. But now, 5-6 weeks after this, what was it, September 10th? How many weeks is that? This is bad. This is real bad. Even mainstream media is calling this one of the most secretive trials in history.
Weird.
The judge is making everything secret. with gag orders, including the police reports and 3,000 witnesses, associates, or anyone that knew Charlie Kirk. They're saying effectively any talk show host that knew him or talked to him is under gag order. Well, let me give you a news flash, Judge. You can piss up a rope. You've seen these judges tell me to do stuff's unconstitutional. I tell them their face are tyrants. I'm not going to shut up. So you can take your gag order and stick it up your ass. We'll be right back. Said that if they try to make the Charlie Kirk so-called assassin trial secretive.
Is this the first part of it again?
Then you know for sure the official story is not true. And I said it'll take some time.
I think it is.
I said it doesn't look good the first few days. There was all sorts of theories that turned out to not be true. There was lots of jumping to conclusions before there was evidence. But now, 5, 6
gag orders. Minimal to no explanation is very suspicious. None of the math here adds up. Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, and Candace Owens are the news. Someone says gag order brought to you by Israel. Yep, thanks, Obama. Israel gets blamed for everything. Was the weather a little overcast? Thanks, the Jews. Did the Mariners not win Game 7? Thanks, Obama. Thanks, the Jews. That didn't take long in the comments section. Yes, I change my custom layout design, and you keep changing it back to something I don't ever want. Please make this stop. This only started recently, and it is annoying and unprofessional. Plus, Restream was broken for me this week. I couldn't broadcast due to the AWS thing. I'm very dissatisfied. Okay, sorry, that was popping up on the screen. I had to deal with it. How do you feel about the Charlie Kirk situation? Do you feel like they're running some stuff through here? Do you think they're pushing fake conclusions, trying to cover up what really happened? I don't feel good about this at all. My toilet's clogged. Thanks, Obama. Exactly. Aw. The cat peed outside the litter box. Thanks, Obama. Ah, my grocery bag just ripped. Now I gotta pick it all up. Thanks, Obama. They can't shut the press up. He's First Amendment. So if the FBI are 100% convinced Robinson did it, it should be a slam dunk. No gag order required, unless, of course, they're lying out of their arses. Judge is probably under control. Can you imagine the mind games they're playing on that kid? There's nothing we can do besides sit back and watch this circus play out. What a joke. Charlie Kirk, y'all. All right, Jesse Kelly discussing political violence. This is the major story because the Democrats are upset that they can't win. They have about a 19% approval rating. We don't like them. They do anti-American, anti-common sense, anti-math, anti-biology, anti-freedom stuff. So they don't get their way, so they start punching.
Political violence is rare here, has been rare here. But if we zoom out and look at all the people who've ever lived on the planet in every different form of government in every place, we will find that political violence is much more the norm. It's not rare.
Unfortunately,
it's how business was often done, either outright violence or the threat of violence. For people who don't have anything moral against hurting or killing someone else, violence makes sense.
Color revolutions.
Remember, it is your moral code, which is good, by the way. Don't change it. Please keep it. But it is your moral code that makes it harder for you to understand people who don't have it, who don't share it at all. For communists, for instance, because that's what we're about to talk about here.
And there really is no getting along with, no compromise with the commies. There is no compromise with the New World Order types, the globalists. They want to dominate, control, and destroy. That's it. That's their objective. That's what they demand. It's what they will get, unless they're stopped. So we stop them. But you're not done once you stop them. You got to keep stopping them. You got to keep removing their power. They have to be the furthest from power that you possibly could. There is no middle ground. There's no compromise with totalitarian tyrants. There just isn't. Except they lie to their people and make them think that it's the MAGA people who are going totalitarian. It's the opposite. But are the followers, the 19% who believe they're garbage, are they savvy enough to know the difference? Unfortunately, I don't know. Not until we change our school system and change our media.
Violence has always been viewed as not an acceptable, a necessary part of the revolution. There's nothing, they don't have anything moral against it. You understand how these demons think. They're trying to burn down everything wherever they are. They're trying to take down every institution, every government, they're trying to burn it all down. It's not realistic to even think you could do that non-violently. So people are going to have to die. They just are. They're just going to have to die. If you're Stalin and you're trying to remake the Soviet system, and you have these upper middle class landowners known as kulaks in Ukraine, and these people, they're really resisting you confiscating all their crops. Well, why don't we just kill them? If you have nothing moral against it, just kill them. If you don't believe in God, if there's nothing in your moral code against killing somebody, why not just kill somebody? This is how communists think. Violence has always been and will always be viewed as necessary. That Mao quote, they all still believe it to this day. All political power comes from the barrel of a gun. The right is more inclined to think about the law, the Constitution. The communist never thinks about those things at all.
No, means to an end.
He thinks about the gun. Political violence.
Yep, means to an end. It's all a means to an end. Can't specific draft you have saved should keep that layout based on the layout you had last time. It sounds like you may be jumping into a different draft or creating a new stream each time. Okay, I don't know, Colin. Anyway. Yep, I feel like we've been jerked around on the Charlie Kirk thing. Agreed, Kenneth. All right. Yeah, there's a global fight for power. You're either going to get steamrolled by bad guys or you're going to stand up and defend. So what is this here? Watching Crime UK. Shows this video claiming an asylum seeker casually admits to SA and claims that he was in the mood. Is this real?
Why would you do that to somebody? Why would you do that?
I was in mood.
You was in the mood? Is that what you do in your country? You just go up to women and...
No. Sometimes.
So, how long have you been in England?
About 3 years.
3 years?
2.5, 3 years.
Are you living in one of the hotels?
And you think that's
Yeah,
acceptable?
I was in hotel, yeah.
So
you really think that's acceptable?
Yeah.
Bring someone in, put them up for free, and they're going to abuse the citizens of your country. Are you out of your stinking minds? That was me self-editing. From the beginning, our message has been simple, says President Trump. He's got a message to Democrats about this shutdown, the silly Schumer shutdown. Day 21 of the government shutdown.
The beginning, our message has been very simple. We will not be extorted on this crazy plot of theirs.
By the way, wouldn't a king just do what they wanted? The left and their narratives, no kings. Yeah, Gavin Newsom acted like a king. Obama, Biden acted like kings.
They've never done this before. Nobody has. You always vote for an extension.
Yeah, you got one job on a board of directors. Pay your damn bills. Pay your bills. And they're not paying their bills. It's dereliction of duty. Hard to define it any other way than that, really.
Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats need to vote for the clean, bipartisan CR and reopen our government. It's got to be reopened right now. We're not doing that. They are the obstructionists. And the reason they're doing it is because we're doing so well. We're doing well all over the world. We're doing well with the close to $20 trillion that I just told you about. It will be that number. But even if you take it down to over 17, that's a guarantee. We're doing well with everything. Car plants are from the beginning our mess.
And isn't this, actually, I'll type that in the comments. Let me pull this up. And isn't this exactly what the diabolical deep state Democrats did 4 years ago? To do anything they could to sabotage America, to hurt President Trump, to help usher in their puppet Biden. Same playbook, same anti-American Democrats. Was this Tory Snow in the know, talking about the No Kings protest?
The No Kings protest predominantly consisted of white Democrats because for the first time in a long time, Democrats are likely going to have to face the consequences of their weak on crime policies and their ridiculous education policies. They are deathly afraid that the Trump administration is going to expose them for the grifters that they are, as they have tried to impose failing policies concentrated in our predominantly black communities. And that's why the black people are not signing on board, because they are actually saying, wait, common sense policies are actually good for our communities. And I kind of like the fact that my kids can go out and walk, in the twilight hours and not worry about dodging bullets. Who said that? Who's there? Show yourself. The No Kings protest predominantly consisted of white Democrats because for the first time...
Who said that? I'll do bravo button. There we go. Get a little bravo action. Yeah, nobody wants violent communities. Hey, speaking of violent communities, let's check in on California. How are things going?
Alert. This is video that we just have in from moments ago from Los Angeles. This is according to multiple ICE and Fox News sources. A U.S. Marshal and an illegal alien were both shot in L.A. this morning. It was during an immigration operation. Both at this time, we are told, have non-life-threatening injuries. Fox is told that federal agents surrounded and boxed in a target. That target then rammed federal vehicles in an attempt to escape. The feds fired their weapons. One U.S. Marshal was hit in his hand in what initially appears to be a bullet ricochet. The target criminal alien was hit in the elbow, we are told. Both expected to be okay, and they are at the hospital, and we are awaiting an update on that situation. All right. News alert.
Here we'll do Make America Safe for Americans Again button. The libs have blood on their hands, says Lowdown. Don Lemon told his listeners this week to take up arms against ICE. The left is deranged, praying for the officer. Martial law coming to LA, maybe. Praying for the officer, right? This is what Don Lemon was calling for. Time for the Insurrection Act to be enforced, praying for the marshal. All right. Well, non-life-threatening injuries are appreciated. If it's going to be something, hopefully it's not life-threatening. Talk to the hand. Too soon, Kenneth. Too soon. Yeah, there was ricochets to the hands. Was that Patriot Warrior? He says on the Rumble. By the way, we do have Rumble rants and Rumble memberships available. Patriot Warrior has tested both of those out. Everybody else, you can clank a coin in the tip jar that way. He says MSNBC stands for more shit, nothing but crap. Nothing but verbal diarrhea. Oh, okay. Speaking of, here's Hillary Clinton saying, it's not his house. It's not your house. You mean like with a cloth? We came, we saw, he died. It's your house, and he's destroying it. About the White House renovations. Benny Johnson claps back. Remind us, wasn't it you who walked off with $28,000 in White House furniture when you moved out? And your husband who defiled the Oval Office during his presidency? President Trump is funding a beautiful new ballroom out of his own pocket. They're faking outrage over it. It's very strange. Yep. Just a reminder, here's all these pictures from renovations to the White House. Where was this outrage when taxpayer dollars paid for Roosevelt's West Wing, Taft's Oval Office, FDR's East Wing and private pool, Truman's full White House rebuild, Nixon's bowling alley, Obama's basketball court? I don't have any cares to give. All right, President Trump wants to open the country back up, stop the shutdown.
Calling on every Senate Democrat to stop the madness, to let our country get back. In the greatest moment in the history of our country, in terms of wealth, in terms of job creation, and in terms of investment coming in, these guys go on strike. It's really a shame. So I'm asking them to be smart. It's not working. They're getting killed in the polls. The public understands what they're doing. They're doing the wrong thing. And today I'm calling on every Senate Democrat to stop the madness, to
Oh, okay. Sorry, I did have mute still on. Got a little sneezy there. Had to press the dump button. Yeah, remember when Obama installed the bathhouse? They didn't call him Bathhouse Barry for nothing. Wait, I don't think that's a thing. Kenneth, you jest. Oh, here's KJP. Is she inciting violence against the Trump admin and conservatives?
And right now, in this moment, there's an existential threat. Our democracy is hanging by a thread. Some people would say we're already an authoritarian regime. And I need to see teeth. I need to see fire. And not just me. Many people are worried and concerned. And right now, in this...
Need to see fire? I'm sorry. That's... She needs to see fire? Are the Democrats planning on a fall of love to burn America down again like they did in 2020? What is she even talking about? Her own words. Let's check on Trump's approval ratings, shall we? Here's Harry Enton, one of the only two redeeming qualities for CNN.
2018/2019, Donald Trump's net approval rating was already falling. The shutdown was eating into his popular support. It was down 3 points already at this particular point and would fall considerably more. It was very much on the decline. You come over to this side of the screen, this shutdown hasn't eaten into Donald Trump's support at all. His net approval rating is actually up a point.
So why is that? Well, one, because President Trump is seeing success and the American people see that. But I think the other reason of this is the Democrats are a total 180 from where President Trump is. The Democrats are the party of nonsense. The Democrats are the party of violence. The Democrats are the party of, we hate Donald Trump, with no other policy to offer up other than that. And that has opened Americans' eyes. CNN again.
Blame Trump for the shutdown, a great deal. In 2018/2019, 61%, more than 3 in 5 Americans blame Trump a great deal for that particular shutdown. You come over to this side of the screen, look at this. It's a different world. It's a different world. 48% of Americans blame Trump a great deal for this particular shutdown.
So the clear reality is the longer this shutdown lasts, the more the Democrats suffer. While Americans will start to suffer at some point. Most of us don't even feel what's happening. I don't know. Do any of you, unless you work for the federal government in some capacity, do you feel this? The answer is most likely no.
Yeah, are you feeling it? The answer is most likely no. What I was saying there when I was on mute, because I'm getting sneezy. I was just saying that I am caught up in this. That there's a federal department that's trying to finish whatever. One department has asked for a piece of paperwork. It's been sent in triplicate for years. We're just still, what's the problem? They can't explain the problem. We have someone from my congressional representative is working on it. Somebody with an advocate service is working on it. That advocate service department has been shut down because of this. It's frustrating, and it has hit normal people now. It's not just, you know, lefties feeling it. It is actually normal Americans now.
2018/2019.
So we'll see. The Democrats are pretty much boxed into a corner. There's not much they can do here. They're going to have to admit this was a failure and just get on with it. You got one responsibility, and that's to pay the bills. It's always been that way. When you're on a board of directors, homeowner association, like your number one job is to pay the bills. You find a way and you get that part done. Closing the government unnecessarily for 3 weeks, that's dereliction of duty. Maybe you could strip these people of their positions. Maybe they could be removed for failure to do the job. Have we considered doing this? I don't know. Why am I so sneezy right now? I just put this shirt on. Sometimes if I've like picked up my cats, maybe I did pick up Nimbus briefly here. Me, the cat guy. I'm actually allergic to cats. Whew. I need to get some fresh air or something. Anyway, let's take a look here. Breaking the scope of the Tyler Robinson case gag order is unprecedented in Utah history, according to the MAGA Mafia media. Over 3,000 witnesses, associates of the case, attorneys, family members, and even the press are subject to the order, threatened with potential contempt of court charges and jail time for speaking about the case. Says who? You out of your mind? We speak about cases. That's what we do in the media. Why has the judge in this case ordered such an unprecedented order? See the court's explanation. Receipts. This occurred in front of 2,000 or 3,000 students at Utah Valley University, so we're in the process of identifying those witnesses. So those witnesses are presently unknown right now, says prosecutor Grunander. The court will rule that as those witnesses become known to each side, that information is, this is poorly written. And I say that, but it doesn't read well. It doesn't look well to use the same word twice. The court will rule that those witnesses become known to each side, that information is conveyed to abide by this order. Obviously, there are potentially many witnesses, and it's not the expectation that you would do that up front, but as they become known, Judge Graff. And Candace has said she's going to violate that. Like, she's not going to stop. This is pretty fantastic here. White House construction crew finds 1,357 more cocaine stashes as they renovate, as they start taking down the facade and opening this up so they can build it out. They found 1,400 more cocaine stashes. That's funny. Here's a report about the CDC actively engaged in eugenics and the fact that they're covering it up.
2002, CDC did an internal study of Atlanta and Fulton County, Georgia children, and looked at children who got the MMR vaccine on time and compared those to kids who got them later. So in other words, kids who got them before 36 months and kids who got them afterward. The data from that study showed that Black boys who got the vaccine on time had a 260% greater chance of getting an autism diagnosis than children who waited. The chief scientist on that, Dr. William Thompson, the senior vaccine safety scientist at CDC, was ordered to come into a room with 4 other co-authors by his boss, Frank DiStefano, who's the head of the immunization safety branch, and ordered to destroy that data. And then they published it without that fact. So you know that story, I know that story, and you know of hundreds of stories like that. It happens all the time. We are being lied to by these agencies, and we're going to change that right now. 2002, CDC did an internal study of Atlanta and Fulton County, Georgia children.
Our own health agencies purposely misled minority families simply to push a profit agenda, and they've covered up. How do you damage somebody for life to make a profit? How do you even come up with that idea? How much do you have to be paid off to go along with that and to not resist that? I'm not quite following how this is happening. Tear the corruption down. Thanks, Bobby. Here's what happens when you fact check a liberal, says Savannah Antau.
Think about what Trump is doing to Lisa Cook. He got rid of all of smart women in the military, the smart black.
Trump got rid of the women in the military, the smart black women in the military. I've never heard this before. What is she even talking about? There's a woke white woman, the wimpy woke white women being the absolute worst thing for this country. pushing their divisive gibberish. This is gibberish.
Women in the military.
He got rid of all the smart black women in the military?
Fired all the smart black women in the military.
What does Taco Donnie mean? I don't know what that means.
There was a time when Trump would propose something and then he would back off from it. And someone came up with this taco thing.
Trump always chickens out.
Yes, thank
Trump
you.
always chickens out. Okay. What do you think about black women that voted for Trump?
I think they were misled, as were most people who voted for him, who were not these crazy MAGA people. And now we're all regretting that. That's it.
Well, I'm a black woman who voted for Trump, and I don't regret it. I'm really happy.
You are really happy about what's happening.
I mean, what exactly are you talking about?
Tell us.
Sure, yeah, they're taking a lot of criminals off the streets. I'm hoping that what he's doing in D.C., he's going to soon do in New York, because I know a lot of our neighborhoods are overrun with crime, drugs, homelessness.
I'm hearing that most of the people that are being scooped up are not criminals. Many of them are here legally and working, and they're just swept up.
If there's anybody here legally, that's sorted out pretty quickly.
Off their jobs.
Can you name one person that you know of who is legally here and was deported by Trump?
No.
But she's hearing it because she's listening to batshit crazy outlets like CNN, MSNBC, etc.
I think this conversation's over.
Why? Why do you guys want to stop talking to me when I start having a conversation with you?
Because I think you're provocative and very biased.
She's not provocative. She's not biased. She's hearing things that she can't name one occurrence of. John says, Kennedy looks like it hurts so bad to talk. I feel for him. It actually used to be much worse. I've been working on some therapeutics. There's some scorpion semen that I do take every 45 minutes. It's a little vial, and it helps. It's not that painful. It used to be a little embarrassing, but now that people have come to know who I am, I'm okay with it. Yeah, she may be hard of hearing. Hard of thinking, too. All right, what's the context here? They're saying in Canada, another church burned down in Montreal, Quebec by an Islamist. This is the historic Notre Dame Basilica Church in Montreal, Quebec. Let's do some research. I don't trust any of these claims. Was a Quebec church just burned by an Islamist? No. Viral misinformation campaign early September 25. Old footage from an October 24 accidental fire at the deconsecrated Notre Dame des Sept Allegresses Church in Trois-Rivières, Quebec, was falsely repurposed to claim a new arson attack on Montreal's Notre Dame Basilica by Islamists or Muslims. Official investigations confirmed the 24 incident was not criminal, likely caused by roof renovation work, and no Islamist motive or suspects were involved. Canada has seen a troubling wave of church arsons and vandalism since 2021, however. Over 100 incidents documented, many linked to anger over residential school abuses rather than residential school abuses. So you burn a church? That doesn't make sense. But none in Quebec match the description. Okay, I'm going to post this if I don't sneeze. Wow, I'm struggling right now. What? I don't know why. It wasn't until I don't know. Okay. I'm going to put fake news alert taken context provided by Grok. Now I'm going to post that there for people to see. I'm just looking for accuracy. This appears to be inaccurate. That account. Doge update guy says, well, reminds us rather, the Ronald Reagan quote that says, oh, do I do a Reagan? Well, if fascism ever came to America, if fascism ever comes to America, it will come in the name of liberalism. Well, let's hear. What's this Larry Elder status? Can you tag us on? I can't click the link. It won't do anything. Can you tag me on X if there's a Larry Elder thing? I would check it out. By the way, please make sure you're following us in all of the places. Let me put that up on the screen. At the bottom here, scrolling, the New American Media is on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, Kick, D Live, in locals, and YouTube at the New American Media. Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. We're on X at American_Media_. And subscribe to our podcast at the Agree to Disagree Show on Spotify and Apple. Friendly reminder, you can sign up to be a monthly subscriber on Patreon, YouTube, or Rumble with us. We have Rumble rants and YouTube super chats if anyone wants to throw something in the tip jar. Also, tip jars at Venmo. That's my name, Brian Engelman. Cash App, Brian Engelman. And look up fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. That's our PayPal address, fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. All right, what is this? It's going down in Ireland. Tensions are heated.
He's Irish!
You have invaders who will not stop abusing the citizens of these sovereign countries. It's happening all over the place. Yeah, and you know what? If you have a couple of people abusing the citizens, it's ruining it for the whole program. It's ruining it for the whole lot of them. You don't let groups of people in that are going to abuse your people, because that's an attack. That's an invasion. Migration without assimilation is an invasion, and you don't assimilate to a community by SAing children or women, anybody really. So tensions are heated in Ireland as Irish citizens set ablaze police vehicles and check passing vehicles for non-Irish citizens. Yesterday, a 10-year-old girl was allegedly arred by an African migrant invader. Americans got soft. Maybe we need to take lessons from Ireland. All right, here's Jen Psaki going completely unhinged, going off on J.D. Vance now. She looks strange too.
I think the little Manchurian candidate, J.D. Vance, wants to.
He's a Manchurian candidate. You know, the left is so dumb. They think that just by using the phrases that we've used to talk about Obama and Biden, if they just flip it, they'll be successful. No, you dorks. It's successful because Obama was, in fact, a Manchurian candidate. Joe Biden was an absolute puppet Manchurian candidate. J.D. Vance is a dude. That's not Manchurian. It's American.
To be president more than anything else. Yeah. I always wonder what's going on in the mind of his wife. Like, are you okay? Please blink 4 times.
Yes.
We'll come over here. We'll save you. And that he's willing to do anything to get there. And that your whole iteration you just outlined, I mean, he's scarier in certain ways.
He's smarter
in some ways. And he's young.
Yeah. And ambitious.
And agile in the sense that he is a chameleon who makes himself into whatever he thinks the audience.
These people, when they talk, do they realize that we can hear them? That's the part I'm not quite following. When they speak, are they even aware of the fact that we can hear the words that they're saying? You know, when I was working with Jen Psaki, or did I work with Psaki? You know, I don't quite recall. Now, hold on. Now, when I'm not going to say that I was in the basement, you know, with an earpiece talking to Joe, or Kamala. It's Kamala. You know, I was often accused of being a chameleon. It's Takia. You know, I can lie to your face. You know, in Indonesia, I picked up on a couple of things. You can say whatever it is that you think they want to hear. And if that's what it takes to gain political power so that we can act as pirates and steal everything not bolted down, you know, look, that's what some folks got to do. You know, I told Michelle the other day, you know, some people said, you can't do that. And I said, you know, hold on. Wait a minute. You didn't build that. This is an ancient philosophy of just, you know, I'm going to give you, what do they call it? The old okie doke. You know, that's what they used to say in Chicago or Hawaii or Indonesia or Kenya or wherever the fuck I'm from. You know, I would, in fact, be a chameleon, you know, because it's the means to an end, whatever it takes. You know, got to convince those soccer moms. You know, I wear their jeans, right? I wear their jeans. They say, Barack, you know, I saw you pitching out there, left-handed, all fruity, like throwing that baseball like you never picked up a damn thing. Fact of the matter is, I haven't. I can hoop. I can shoot. I'm kind of tall, kind of lanky. I can play a little basketball. In fact, I put in a basketball court at the White House. Didn't have Laura Bush going off on Twitter X about, that's not your house, that's people's house. You didn't build that. How dare you do a renovation? You know, I just did it. Because the deep state, we've controlled the media. And the education system. And we've been fucking up all the kids, messing with their heads. But, you know, when I left hand threw that ball, kind of like I was shot putting it. Terrible pitch for a terrible team, the White Sox. You know, I wore the mom jeans because I was trying to connect to the suburban, the wimpy whites, the wimpy white women who are really ruining this country. I'm sorry. Improving this country. You know, as I think back now, you know, to that moment when I was 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America, you know, I said, I'll wear mom jeans if that gets the votes of the moms. I'm the chameleon. So, you know, Jen Psaki over here, she's just repeating what she's told to say. Chameleon-like. You know the thing.
Wants to hear from him. Now, what's also true, though, is J.D. Vance is not, he's in some ways goodish on paper if you like what he believes in. I don't know. But I don't know that he can take the whole movement with him.
No way.
I don't think so either.
There's no riz.
It's got no riz, right?
None.
And he just is a little odd. And
Totally.
so Trump's.
Who are these goofballs on this podcast? No riz. I remember they said JD's weird. No, y'all are weird. That's why you got voted out.
Odd in a different way. So I'm skeptical of that. So yeah, he's got to, I mean, everything going on right now, and I think we have to be very clear-eyed about this, is about trying to manipulate the public around elections. And I think the little Manchurian candidate, J.D. Vance, wants to be president more than anything else.
Yeah.
I always wonder what's going on in the mind of his wife. Like, are you okay? Please bring.
Who are these goofballs on this show? Usha wants to leave, but she's scared of JD. Okay. She'll save Usha if she just comes over to the deep state Democrat party. Okay, weirdo. They're the weird ones. All right, here's Devin the One. He's going to say 10 years of understanding that politics is poison. He's going to tell you in 1 minute.
Took me almost a decade to understand that politics is poison. And I'm about to explain it to you in 60 seconds. Here the fuck we go. Number one, I thought politics was all about truth. Turns out it's just expensive storytelling with better lighting. Number two, I used to argue online like I was getting
expensive storytelling with better lighting. Yeah.
Paid per comment. Then I realized these politicians are shaking hands behind our backs while we're just out here losing friends. Number three, I learned both sides are like Pepsi and Coke. Different labels, same fucking sugar addiction. Neither one's good for you. They just sell it better than the other. Number four, I realized the goal was never fucking unity. It was division. Because if you keep these idiots fighting, then nobody looks up to see who's actually pulling the fucking strings. Number five, I stopped saying my side, and started saying my piece because arguing with people who get their opinions from fucking memes is not part of my fucking purpose. Number six, politics feeds on fear, not facts. The angrier, more scared you are, the easier you are to fucking control. And last but not least, real power isn't in the fucking parties. It's in the people waking up and actually thinking for their fucking selves. I saved your ass a lot of fucking stress, some fake outrages, and 3 lost Thanksgiving invites. Now cash up or PayPal me $5. It's
Now Cash App or PayPal me $5. I mean, cut right to it, you know? We're all just buskers playing our guitar on the street corner with the guitar open. Like, that's not for show. That's so you can toss a $5 in. Yeah, the modern 5 is the dollar bill of yesteryear. The 20 is like the new 10. Obama's like Barry Glib. Jen passed the sake on the left-hand side. Well, we said, though, that Democrats and rhinos are absolutely on the same side. MAGA is finally fixing some of the problems both wings of the deep state dirty bird created. I take his point, but I think Republicans and Democrats, specifically the rhinos and the deep state Democrats, they are the same. I don't think MAGA is the same. There is some overlap on the Venn diagram for sure. But it's not the same, and I'm not going to be black-pilled. Hey, where's our black-pilled buddy today? Where's David up in Canada? He's one of our black-pilled buddies. Everybody hit like, hit subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, can you press... How does it work? There's a button to press for like hearts and confetti and hundreds. It's fun interaction. Tappy tapping. You want to know how clueless the Democrats are? Here's this shared from the Gay Republican. The Democrat inability to remember the pandemic really should be studied. They're out here with a sign that says, only cowards wear masks. Are you kidding me? Yeah, and Antifa doesn't wear masks? Are you for real? Yeah, sitting in their cars alone, wearing masks. Don't they like them? It's gotta hurt for them to think. Says the party of mask mandates. Exposing their hypocrisy daily. Uh-huh. All right, so here's the people you're supposed to make peace with and maybe collaborate with. There is no collaborating with people like this. Take a look. Here's 5 of the most unhinged things you might have seen this weekend for the No Kings Goofball Fest.
Top 5 most abhorrent things seen at the No Kings protest this weekend. Let's start with this guy here deliberately mocking Charlie Kirk's assassination. If you think it doesn't get more disrespectful than that, then look at number 4. Yeah, it gets worse. Now we have this old man here, shame on him, wearing the same clothes as the shooter of Charlie Kirk, like it's a Halloween party and he thinks it's a funny costume to put on. Number 3.
These people are sick.
Is even more disrespectful. They put out a tent saying change my mind, but the sign said Charlie Kirk had it coming. So they're blaming Charlie for being.
Yeah, it's okay to kill people that you don't agree with. Say the college Democrat. What sign was that? What group was that? says that group, whatever that group was.
Killed. Here's number 2, and I believe everyone has seen it. This is a teacher, you guys. An elementary teacher mocking one of the most horrific moments in American history, where Charlie gets shot on the neck and bleeds to death. And here is number 1, a child stabbing a figure of Donald Trump. What do you think this child is going to grow up to be? This is insanity. This is absolutely ridiculous. So this was their No Kings protest, huh? You had kids stabbing figures of Donald Trump. You had teachers mocking shootings. You had people all over the place saying, kill your political opponents. That's fine. Tell me again how it's all about democracy. Top 5 most abhorrent.
Okay.
I don't.
Harry Sisson's loss streak remains unbroken. I just don't get how this guy is a darling of any political party. He's such a goober. So incorrect. I mean, I know the left doesn't have a lot, but my gosh. By the way, as of October 22nd, 2025, yes, Lucy Martinez has been fired from Nathan Hale Elementary School in the Chicago Public Schools District. Fired for inappropriate comments about the murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. I don't know. It's corroborated on YouTube and Times Now News, but not like real channels. Okay. No appeals or reversals, it seems. All right, here you go. Democrats proving that they have selective memory once again.
I think anybody in this debate can name me a high-ranking elected Democrat who has called Donald Trump Hitler.
You'd think this was a skit. He's trying to be serious here.
I don't think anybody can. When did Kamala Harris call Donald Trump Hitler?
October of 2024, Kamala Harris said on the campaign trail, Donald Trump vowed to be a dictator on day one. His former chief of staff said he wanted generals like Hitler's. Donald Trump openly admires dictators, including Adolf Hitler. Last October, that was said on the campaign trail from the Democrat.
Did somebody insert a fart noise?
Kamala
Harris
said
this
during the campaign. Literally just weeks ago, called Donald Trump a wannabe.
Me calling you, a wannabe Hitler.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, can you? I don't think anybody in this.
Time out. I can't stand being proven wrong any longer. Yeah.
Yes.
Democrats have been pushing these radical fringe campaigns for 10 years now. It's ridiculous. Okay, so what is this here? MJ Truth Ultra reminds us where Bobby Kennedy says that COVID-19 ethnically targeted Caucasian and Black people, while the most immune were Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese people, is coming directly from an NIH study. It's not something I made up.
Yes or no, Mr. Kennedy? Did you say that COVID-19 was a genetically...
Mr. Kennedy. Okay. Mr. Kennedy. Yeah, okay. Would you say that you talked about COVID-19, okay? Being created in the lab, genetically modified, so to go after certain people, okay?
Engineered bioweapon that targets Black and white people, but spared Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese people.
I didn't say it was deliberately targeted. I just quoted an NIH-funded and NIH published study.
Did you say that it targets Black and white people but spared Ashkenazi Jews?
I quoted a study, Your Honor. I quoted an NIH study that showed that
I'll take that as a yes.
races
I have to move on, I have to move on. Yes or no, Mr.
So here's Tucker. This is going to get Tucker in trouble. MJ Truth Ultra says COVID-19. Oh, yeah. Here you go. Ready? Let me put this on the screen. Scrolling at the bottom. Oh, no, just here at the bottom. For countervailing views on health and elections, go to cdc.gov, who.int, and visit cisa.gov/rumor control. Because they'll say COVID definitely came from a wet market. It was not genetically engineered. Fauci had nothing to do with it. It wasn't an intentional biological weapon released by China. It wasn't used to overthrow the 2020 election. Nope. CISA.gov/rumor control. See? Okay, so this is a quote from Tucker. Hang on, let me just skip to Tucker.
So I remember Bobby Kennedy got into a great deal of trouble because he said at some event, of course, the New York Post led the charge against him, of course, but that COVID could be tailored. In fact, for whatever reason, COVID had disparate effects on populations.
That's absolutely true. I mean, that's scientifically true. And I was quite familiar with that literature when he made that comment.
What does that mean? Which populations suffered most from COVID?
There was a finding in a scientific publication that two different populations of people of Jewish ancestry, depending which line they're from, where one was more heavily impacted than the other.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
Sephardic Ashkenazi.
Yes.
Basically.
And that was the finding. And I think the point that he was trying to make, or maybe didn't articulate well, is that the agent can be tailored to have that effect. And that's absolutely true. And that's through old gain of function technology. And with
so I remember Bobby
full synthetics, what I'm saying is you can make this so specific as that if I get your DNA, like off of, say that you threw a cup, I can tailor an agent just to you. And this is how it's changing. And if you're using AI behind that, I could then, and I say that I got a DNA sample from a couple of your relatives, so I knew what your family tree partially looked like. Machine learning is very good at actually random forest and tree decision making. You do a lot of complex AI behind this to figure out and make predictions that AI could about what your family tree looked like and have the disease travel through your family line. Full synthetics, what I'm saying is you can make this so specific as that if I get your DNA, like off of, say that you threw a cup, I can tailor an agent just to you.
That's what gain of function is. That's literally the definition of it. Oh my gosh, there were people marching that said, you're not going to replace us. They must be literal Hitlers and Nazis or something, and white supremacists and Christian nationalists. No, they're people that are identifying that you're flooding America with tens of millions of unvetted non-Americans. That's replacement. Oh my gosh, you're saying that there's a genetically modified lab that can genetically modify their... Yeah, that's literally what they're doing. That's what gain of function is. You're crazy and you're... I don't know what kind... You're misogynist or you're Islamophobic or you're totalitarian or you're white nationalist or you're this or you're that or blah, blah, blah. There's just 10 insults that the left hurls at people when they don't like what they have to say.
And this is how it's changing. And if you're using AI behind that, I could then, and I say that I got a DNA sample from a couple of your relatives, so I knew what your family tree partially looked like. Machine learning is very good at actually random forest and tree decision making. You do a lot of complex AI behind this to figure out and make predictions that AI could about what your family tree looked like and have the disease travel through your family line.
If they can do it, they are doing it. How much is released?
The level, I know a lot now about bioweapons because I've been doing a book on it for the past 2.5 years. And
it would be helpful if they had subtitles at the bottom of the screen here. I know it's me, but I even have a hard time understanding some of what I say.
And the technology that we now have to develop these microbes, we've put hundreds of millions of dollars into ethnically targeted microbes. The Chinese have done the same thing.
It's ethnically targeting certain people.
In fact, COVID-19, there's an argument that it is ethnically targeted. COVID-19 attacks certain races disproportionately. The races that are most immune to COVID-19 are because of the structure of the genetic structure, genetic differentials among different races of the receptors of the ACE2 receptor. Bioweapons. COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and black people. The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese.
Now, does that necessarily mean that the Ashkenazi Jews and the Chinese were behind the lab release? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there was an NIH study that showed COVID-19 disproportionately went after Caucasians and black people for whatever it's worth. I'm just saying.
But we don't know whether it was deliberately targeted that or not. But there are papers out there that show the racial and ethnic differential impact to that. We do know that the Chinese are spending hundreds of millions of dollars developing ethnic bioweapons, and we are developing ethnic bioweapons. That's what all those labs in the Ukraine are about. They're collecting Russian DNA, they're collecting Chinese DNA, so that we can target people by race.
Oh boy.
Tanya.
So there you go. Here's Glenn Beck talking about being with President Trump recently.
And I were alone in the Oval for a while. We were talking about it. And he comes in, he says, I'm doing all this. You see all the gold? I'm like, yes, I can't miss it. You can't miss the gold. And he's like, you
can't miss the gold. Gold everywhere.
No, it's so important. These foreign leaders, they all come from palaces and they don't understand. And I know, the White House is different, America's different, but they understand power in a different way. And he said they're coming from these old countries and these big buildings and these palaces. And he said it is important for us to project power.
Yes.
And that is why he's doing it. It's not because he likes gold. He's doing it to project power and wealth. Notice how many prime ministers, they're all flying in all the time from all over the world. I've never seen a president meet with so many foreign dignitaries in the White House all the time.
Yeah, and the media likes to say, well, that's because he's self-important. And
he's projecting American power.
I think so, too. And when I say it's important to him, that's why it's important to him. Because he believes it's an important tool in that world.
It's not him. He knows the language they speak and not just body language or, spoken language. All of the that's what protocol is all about. It all means something. Tanya and I were.
And so that's an interesting perspective. I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, you go into a Catholic church, it's all ornate and all that stuff. And I thought it was kind of tacky and overdone. And if you care so much, why don't you use that money to help other people? Like, okay, but the other side of it is if you're going to build something nice, something that's going to want people to come back. Okay, so I get that perspective too. I'm fine with that. But when you're negotiating deals, you need to be the most impressive version of yourself that you can be. Whatever that means, whatever that looks like. No matter how prepared. Be on top of your game, as it were. Be on top of your game. And that's part of the reason for renovating the White House. More power, more deals.
It certainly appears.
Here's Carolyn Levitt talking about the ballroom derangement syndrome.
That way, Jesse, and I believe there's a lot of fake outrage right now because nearly every single president who has lived in this beautiful White House behind me has made modernizations and renovations of their own. And in fact, presidents for decades in the modern time have quipped about how they wish they had a larger event space here at the White House that can hold hundreds more people than the current East Room and State state dining rooms can. In fact, President Obama notably complained that during his tenure, he had to hold a state visit on the South Lawn and get a very expensive tent. If you talk to journalists who have covered the White House for decades, as I do here every single day, they will also tell you that administration after administration have publicly and privately spoken about the need for a larger event space. So while many presidents have privately dreamt about this, it's President Trump who is actually doing something about it. And he is the builder in chief. In large part, he was reelected back to this people's house because he's good at building things. He has done it his entire life, his entire career. And construction is a process. At the end, the East Wing, which is an entirely separate structure from the executive mansion you see behind me, will be more modern and beautiful than ever. And then on top of that, the White House is going to have a big, beautiful ballroom for generations of Americans to come. And the best part of it all, it's not a...
Yeah, here's the best part. Like, you cannot hate these people enough. On top of all the stuff, the modernization, the renovation, fine. On top of all of that,
a dime of the taxpayers' money. The president has worked hard to privately fund this entire project from start to finish.
Yeah. And he also doesn't collect a paycheck. Like, I'm so over the people who will scream about Trump on a daily basis, try to find a hill they can make a mountain out of. It's so boring. Every day, Democrats wake up feverishly looking around for something to screech about to ruin President Trump. Every day, us normal Americans move further and further away from those deep state Democrats as they lose their former grip on power over the USA. Kind of wordy, but accurate. Yeah, Obama's presidential library. Woo, boondoggle.
You're building your ballroom right now. They're also building the Obama presidential library. I'm wondering if you've seen. Have you seen pictures of the architecture? And
yeah, I did. It's not too pretty. No, but it's closed. It's stopped. They ran out of money. I mean, he's building a library / museum. You know, you call it some museum, and usually they call it library and museum. That's the official name. And they're stuck. And he wanted only women and DEI to build it. Well, that's what they got. And the construction workers are standing out there and saying, we want to be able to build it. You know, I built a great building in Chicago, as you know, a big, beautiful building, one of the tallest buildings in the country. And we got it built very quickly, very well. And we used the construction workers of Chicago. They're great workers. They're great construction people. And I suggest that he get them involved. But they're hundreds of millions of dollars over budget. And I think it stopped. I'm reading these terrible stories. But that's the way our country was run under President Obama, too. Nobody knew it.
Mr. President, you're building your ballroom right now.
Said Obama definitely didn't hire great architects. This thing is monstrous. However, wouldn't it serve as a fantastic prison once Obama is convicted of his seditious conspiracy and treason? Wouldn't that make it a great place to put Rapunzel up in the tower? That's actually a pretty fantastic idea. I've envisioned once Alcatraz is renovated, that would be a good place to put Pelosi and Schumer and Kinzinger and Cheney and Biden, Obama. Still do the tours, but kind of keep them in their cages. So like it's like a zoo of why you never commit treason against the country. Maybe that's what they could do in Chicago. Just put Barry up in his prison. That works for me. John says, yep. Those people wake up every day looking for a reason to shriek about President Trump, but it backfires every day. I love winning. You're going to win so much. You're, frankly, going to get sick of winning. But yeah, DEI builders. Geez, that story shared 3 times. Okay. Nick Sorter reporting. Antifa, the Portland cell of the Antifa terror group, has safe houses and storage units near the ICE facility. Nick Sorter was caught filming inside one of the recharge, rearm facilities. Recharge and rearm. Okay. So who's funding them? The FBI must go after the funding behind this insurgency.
Get the fuck back.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
That's what I thought.
That's what I thought.
Here. I'm just checking it out. I'm on a public sidewalk. Close the window if you don't want to see in. There you go.
You're so fucking closeted, gay.
You're ugly.
You're a
Dude, this is so ridiculous. These little weasels in there go, you're so closeted gay. You're ugly. Is this fucking 5th grade? It is. It is. And the Democrats are playing into this. This is their foot soldier. You're so closeted gay. You're ugly. Is this real life?
fad.
You look stupid. What else you got in there?
Huh?
The Antifa safe house is located just 1 block from the anti-ICE riots. Portland police. Okay.
Run! Going into the Antifa safe house. Yep.
Post-millennials Katie Davis Court chased her attacker to the Antifa safe house.
Fucking women. Fucking minors and shit. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Why are you stalking this person?
She assaulted me.
She's assaulted you? Do you have proof of that?
Yeah, my black eye.
Your black guy? You didn't just.
You don't have a black eye.
I don't see it. Get hit by your boyfriend or something?
All right. The assault suspect is in the safe house.
Assault suspect? You want to stop now? Are you able to designate somebody?
Katie's attacker is known to police, but still at large. Is that serious?
The assault suspect is in the safe house. Get away from me.
Yeah, you got to get the funding. You got to stop this crap. This is everywhere. It's so stupid.
Go further.
Hey, speaking of stupid.
Toward the Vienna model, we'll have to go beyond the market. We can.
Anyway, there's music here. Mamdani says we'll slowly buy up the housing on the private market and convert properties into communes. Is this the 60s? Is this a hippie commune? What is he talking about? This is literally communism. Mamdani will ruin New York forever. Cuomo needs to drop out and join Sliwa's campaign ASAP to save New York City. They're saying that Sliwa needs to drop out and join Cuomo, but Cuomo's terrible. Don't surrender, New York. Here's Mamdani again.
We came here to remake this state in the image of our people. We came here to remake this state in the image of our people.
And I look like a guy who's going to rob a train.
We came.
What a goober. Just serving as Turning Point USA chapter president speaks out publicly against Dearborn, Michigan, naming their streets after terrorist sympathizers while silencing Americans who speak out. This isn't progress, it's surrender. Dearborn is celebrating actual terrorists as heroes, they say. Waving a white flag and calling it compassion. Blasting Islamic calls to prayer at 5:30 a.m. by silencing people who object. That's not coexistence, that's a surrender. Europe already learned this lesson the hard way, and now the warning sirens are going off right here in America. You either defend your culture with a spine of steel, or watch it disappear piece by piece while the cowards in charge pat themselves on the back for diversity. This isn't hate, it's reality, and pretending it's not happening won't save a damn thing, says the 29.0 chasing account. It's 2 minutes, 44 seconds. I'm not going to play it all, but here's newly emerging video of a detective who discovers a handgun with a holster at the scene of the Charlie Kirk assassination, orders a uniformed UVU officer to tag it.
Hey, officer, can you mark out with your chief?
Yeah. Convenient, like the hijackers' passports found fully intact and neatly placed on 9/11 rubble. Yeah, they should be able to track the owner and run tests, maybe. Someone said, though, it's a concealed carry state, so, like, in the chaos, it could have fallen out of somebody's holster. I don't know. I don't know. Why are we only now seeing this, though? It's been over a month, right? All right, Tim Pool's going to talk about the anti-ICE craziness.
Judges ruled in Chicago that DHS agents can be arrested if they try to apprehend illegal immigrants without a warrant. Now, this is part of the ongoing lie and manipulation by the left, where they're playing what I would describe as a silly game of semantics. You see, in immigration courts, they operate under the executive branch. Judges still exist, but they're executive branch judges because immigration is the sole purview of the executive branch. This is why Texas could not deport illegal immigrants. Got to go through the executive branch. So what the left has been doing is claiming they're not judicial warrants and that it's a violation of due process to enact the law the way it's written and has been. Let me put it like this. When Texas said, we want to turn these illegal immigrants back, the Biden admin was like, you can't, because we are in control of how this operates. Let them in. When the Trump admin says, we are in control, just like Biden was, and we want to deport people, they said, you can't. Not unless you get a judicial warrant, which is different from executive immigration warrants. So now this judge is basically saying that if these ICE guys try to arrest illegal immigrants, they can be arrested. And whether or not they will be, I would argue, yeah, probably, because they already arrested the guy who became president and they want to put him in prison. What makes you think they wouldn't go after just a single federal agent? A judge has ruled in Chicago that DA...
Isn't that obstruction? Ron DeSantis points out an indictment of U.S. immigration policy. American-born New Yorkers, 40%, voting for Cuomo. 25% Sliwa, only 31% Mamdani. Foreign-born New Yorkers? Why are foreign-born New Yorkers voting? Don't you have to be native-born? Or that's just to be the candidate of the presidency, apparently only. Mamdani's getting 62% of the foreign votes in New York. That's essentially the Cuomo plus Sliwa amount of 65. It's an indictment of the U.S. immigration policy. But to be fair, I'm going to type that. But to be fair, Ron, how many busloads of unvetted illegal aliens did you send from Florida up to NYC. You played a role in this. The Europe Awakening movement.
These are soldiers. Whoa.
Wait, come on, bro.
Why?
Bro, not for me,
Why? Chill out, chill.
First time beginning with Helene and Kirk.
Germany. Europe is awakening.
Stay away then.
Hello.
We're filming.
And welcome to the financial capital of Germany, Frankfurt, or Crackfurt. Crime, illegal migrants, and drugs. Now you're probably wondering, Kurt, why do you need a bodyguard? You know, you've traveled all around the world, you've gone to the most dangerous countries on earth, yet in Europe you need somebody to watch over you. Well, out of all the places that I've been to, this is the most hostile.
Afghan flags, lots of Arabic and Oriental shops, supermarkets, restaurants.
You'll be lucky if you see a German flag or an actual German. Police on standby again.
It's just like where I come from in Manchester and Oldham and Rochdale. You know, you just can't find anyone that looks like you, talks like you, and has the same ideas as you. That's right.
Over here is a sign that says Waffenverbotszone. So, this is where it begins, guys. So, a lot of the people here openly taking drugs and smoking crack on the streets. Now, Frankfurt has had a drug epidemic, an open drug market, so people openly consuming drugs. Heroin, she's just shooting up right there in broad daylight.
She's pretty high.
Man, they do not like the camera, obviously.
Thanks for being here, guys.
So, openly consuming. Yeah, the open drug market. These are soldiers.
Whoa.
Wait, come on, bro.
Why?
Bro, not for me,
Why?
Chill out, chill.
First time beginning with Helene and Kirk.
Stay away then.
Hello. We're filming. And welcome to the financial capital of Germany, Frankfurt, or Crackfurt. Crime, illegal migrants, and drugs. Now you're probably wondering, Kurt, why do you need a bodyguard? You know, you've traveled all around the world, you've gone to the most dangerous countries on earth, yet in Europe you need somebody to watch over you. Well, out of all the places that
I don't get why immigrants come into any country probably display the flag of where they left. If it's that great, why don't you go back to it, says Jamie. Thanks to your ex-prime minister, Angela Merkel. Europe, wake up. I'm reading the comments here. I want to see every single leader of Europe walk through this alone. Make Europe great again. Hey, now. Come to Poland. Poland's got it together. Just take the Hungarian and Polish politics. See if you can save yourself. Oh, Europe. All right, well, this is good. Jack Posobiec here is having a conversation because this concept of this is the exact opposite of sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. But the schools and the Democrat teachers, Democrat politicians, and the media have been brainwashing people to believe that words are violence, which means if someone says something you don't like, you get to end them. This needs to be rejected.
Where does that idea come in that you harming my feelings is something that's causing me physical harm? Because you do tend to see this, and I'm just going to call it out, you tend to see it with a lot of Gen Z where they're so worried about having their feelings hurt that they almost become, conflict aversive.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, you know, it is, of course, it's literally psychotic. And in psychology, we call it psychotic when something is, you know, broken from reality. And so it's actually a very anxiety evoking way to live your life, to think like, God forbid somebody says the wrong thing to me. You know, it's like I've been run over by a car, right? Or to think, God forbid that you say the wrong thing to somebody else. Then, you know, it's like you've run them over with a car. Now, you bring up the trans issue and the overlap, which I think is interesting because, frankly, there's a lot of psychoticism, I think, within the trans movement, because, again, going back to this idea that psychotic essentially means out of touch with reality. And there are some people who identify as trans that say, like Caitlyn Jenner, that says, I know I'm a man who has had cosmetic surgery. Like, Caitlyn knows what he is. But there are many trans people who believe that through their surgeries or whatever, that they literally magically become a member of the opposite sex, which, you know, I would say is a psychotic belief. And so it is interesting, as you said, that there is this overlap with the violence. In fact, when Governor Tim Walz signed into law, you know, making Minnesota a sanctuary state, there was a Minnesota lawmaker in the background photo with a T-shirt that said "Protect trans kids at all costs," and it had a bloody knife on it. There's also a lot of medication, obviously, going on within that community, and some of that medication could even have side effects that could lead to additional psychoticism as well as potentially violent behavior, especially if they say anybody who disagrees that I'm, you know, gender is, quote, threatening my existence. That's setting up self-defense language. To your point, this idea that these words are, quote, harming me on a physical level, that's really broken from reality because it's just obviously not true.
Where does that idea come in that you harming my feelings is something that's causing me physically?
Yep. And this is what they've been pushing. It's all part of a plan. It is awful how much damage they've been causing people. David Medina has this conversation, and, you know, for the people that say there's no point talking to the other side, well, maybe there is a point. Check this one out.
Why do you hate Trump so much?
I haven't liked him since 1986, and it's personal. I know where your guys' agenda is, and you can just keep moving, okay? Because I've had these discussions with you guys before. You say you're independent journalist or whatever the fuck, and then you nitpick what I say. So please move on.
Have I not been fair to you? Okay.
No, you have.
We'll move on. I'll respect that.
No,
okay.
I'm just saying.
They're with me. They're with me.
It's okay.
They're just my camera guys. They're with me.
No,
it's just
fine.
me and
That's
you,
fine.
brother. It's just me and you. That's it.
But we're done.
Okay. All right, man. Hey, take care of yourself. Okay.
And I want to tell you one thing. Okay, Charlie Kirk. I didn't agree with that. Not all of the left, you know, were willing to, are out there making fun of that horrible situation. I didn't like the guy. I didn't like what he, a lot of stuff that he stood for. But to take that kind of action and take him away from his wife and his kids, that's fucked up.
I know that you're an atheist, but I mean, I would love it if you came to church with me sometime. Just chill.
You know, I was raised a Christian.
Yeah.
My parents were Christian. My grandmother, who I was very close to, she came down with cancer. We moved her into my house, or into our house, and for 9 months during the age of, I was 15 at the time, my brother was 13, and we prayed, and we prayed, and we prayed. Please save our Nana. So we prayed, and we prayed, and we prayed, you know? Yep. And she just got worse, and then it would be the nights where my parents were, you know, with her in the bathroom at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and she's throwing up because of the chemo. It broke me. It broke my brother.
I bet.
And then when I started questioning, you know, when I started questioning my prayers and I started questioning the church, I got shunned. Family pushed me away just because I was asking questions.
What's your name?
My name's Spider Mike.
Spider Mike.
Spider Mike.
Can I just tell you something?
Yeah.
You being shunned for asking those questions is not what Jesus would have done.
Oh, I know.
And I'm sorry that happened to you. That's nonsense. Honestly, if I were in your position, bro, I'd probably be an atheist too. To be honest, dude, I'm being honest.
It was tough being shunned by the church, which I was very close to. And still, I just wanted some answers.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of bad people, bad Christians ruin it for me too. There was a time I questioned my faith. Please don't let it be something that takes you away from actually at least believing in God, because it's between you and God. It's not between those people that ruined it for you, right? And so I really encourage you, man. I mean, you seem like a really good dude. It just sucks that bad Christians ruined it for you, because that's not how it's supposed to. That's not what Jesus would have done.
And that's, if you talk to pagans, atheists, Jews, Islamists, talk to non-Christians, you're going to find a lot of people that had a bad experience with a Christian or two, or a church or a specific thing, and they just bailed completely. Well, maybe you don't need to bail completely. In this conversation, you know, that's a guy that suffered greatly watching his grandmother go through that. And we've all been through that, where we want What do you think I was praying for while my brother was being tortured to death when he couldn't breathe? Day after day, a victim of the Wuhan biological attack. What conversations do you think I was having with God? It was different with my mom. It was different. She was older. She had other issues. Eventually succumbed to a respiratory distress situation, very similar to what my brother did. We'll set that one aside for a second because there were underlying issues and health concerns there. But what type of conversations do you think I had with God? And how happy do you think I am with the fact that God didn't prioritize me enough to care? To just let those prayers just fall. You know, let them do what they're going to do. It's easy to lose faith, I suppose.
Jesus would have been like, come here. He would have hugged you, and he would have comforted you, and he would have said, hey, these are the answers to your questions. They wouldn't have shunned you. He wouldn't have shunned you out of the church, man. So, anyways, get down my number. I want to talk without cameras.
I'm sorry, what was
David.
I'm sorry.
David.
Yeah. I got bad hearing.
Yeah, David.
Construction hearing.
Why do you hate Trump so much?
They exchanged info. Maybe. It just feels like it's easier to just give up sometimes. And then you see stuff like that, and you're like, well, maybe there is a point to talking to the other side. Because there's no compromise in certain aspects. And so many people are so far lost, so far gone, so far brainwashed, it's hard to even make sense of it all. Oh, what's the comment here? That man needed a friend and comfort, and you were the one. God bless you for showing the values of good humanity and love. That's Christianity and the power of just talking. Charlie Kirk was there. Live like Charlie is what you saw, folks. Tucker talking about what the rulers do to keep us separated.
I'm against the divisiveness. I totally agree with you, but I would also say that a lot of the divisiveness is designed to keep people from understanding that they have more in common than they think.
I 100% agree, and the fact that you
and the race stuff especially,
and that you recognize that, I believe that you could be in a position.
Well, I think I am, and I think I'm doing that. And maybe again, I'm flattering myself. You know, we don't see ourselves clearly, and it's totally possible that I'm like working toward evil and don't know it. But I don't believe that. I actually think I'm doing the right thing. I say prayers about it every day. And I do know from working for 20 years, having people call me a racist, and I always say, if I was a racist, I would just admit it. And I would. I'm kind of a sexist. I'm not a racist. Just kidding. But I was like, why are they calling me a racist? You could say, you know, you've gained 20 pounds, or you're obnoxious, or you're kind of nasty. All true. Why are they calling me a racist? I never got that. And then I realized they were calling me a racist so no one could hear on the other side that I actually agree on some issues. And they didn't want anyone to hear that. And the issues specifically that I agree on is I think the tax code is totally immoral. I don't think that people should be paying half the taxes for investing that other people are paying for working. I hate that because it's not twice as virtuous to invest as it is to work for a wage. Sorry, I think that's wrong. Is that a liberal position? I have no idea, but no liberal's ever heard that because, like, he's a racist, shut up. Or he's divisive, or he fly fishes in Central Park, or who gives a shit? Like, actually, all of us are being played by the most powerful people in the world. That's my view. And by the way, they're not even politicians. My read from a lot of time, you know, in this world is that politicians have a lot less power than we imagine they do. And I think people are starting to figure that out. Like, they take orders. Almost all of them take orders. So the question is, who are they taking orders from? And who made those people God? Like, I didn't vote for them. And why is nobody protesting them? It's always some poor ICE agent who's just doing his job, or some cop. The problem is white cops. What? The guys who make $50,000 a year? And the left had, like, literally nation-stopping violent protests for an entire summer because cops were white. It's like, I don't think we're going after the real criminals here. And the real criminals are people who are turning single-family homes into rental properties. They are people who opened the borders and made it too crowded for your kids to have a job or buy a house. Like, why those people get completely escape any scrutiny, much less punishment? And I would say to the left, to liberals like you, harness the good energy that you have, like your desire for social justice, which I share completely. And no, it's not related to race, it's related to human rights inherent in all of us. And pursue those. And pursue the people who are trying to limit them. Anyone trying to limit free speech should be your enemy. But I'm against the divisiveness. I totally agree with you, but
Tucker Quisling. Call him a Quisling. Charlie is missed. Yeah. Tucker speaks common sense. Hey, Nimbus. You want to come up here? Might be more fun up here. Okay, he's sitting down there. You know, I played you some of this clip the other day, but I didn't finish it. But I did watch it again, and I do want to play it now. Liberal woman who fled to Costa Rica to escape Trump's America. Did she move or just vacation? But she moves back or comes back after discovering Costa Ricans don't like liberals.
Today is my last day living in Costa Rica. I can't wait to get back to the United States tomorrow. God bless America, land of the queens, home of the gays, my people. Not me being all patriotic, but Costa Rica was way more conservative than I expected. I knew it would be a little bit because of Catholicism, but I didn't expect so many expats to be like hardcore MAGA vibes. Like, they came here during the pandemic because they're anti-maskers, anti-vaxxers,
pro-freedom,
and they do not like liberals. They hate people like me. I've gotten more
people like you. You led this whole conversation starting off with who you choose to sleep with. I don't think these people care much at all what you're doing in your personal life. It's the 100 policy decisions on average that the Democrat Party supports that people are traditionally against. I don't know. I'm just getting the strong vibes that her entire personality is wrapped up in her sexual preference, which is doesn't strike me as ideal, particularly helpful.
homophobic, transphobic, sexist
Okay. I don't really know anyone that's scared of the gays or scared of the trans. This whole phobic thing is weird. Yeah, I think if you ask most people, it's like, hey, you're a dude and you want to dress as a chick? All right. Well, you're still using our bathrooms. You want to hike up your skirt to take a whiz? All right. But stay out of the bathrooms, out of the ladies' rooms. Stay out of the locker rooms. And no, you don't get to swim against them or play basketball or volleyball on their team or punch them in MMA. No, you silly rabbit. That's not phobic. Like, I'm terrified of these things. That whole phrase is just strange to hear, phobic. It's just, no, don't indoctrinate my kids. Don't creep in on the lady spaces. That's not a phobia. That's just common sense policy.
Moments here than anywhere else in the world, and I'm a very well-traveled person. And
are you really?
I've been through a lot of trauma in my life. I'm not going to stay.
And I think that might be a common denominator for a lot of people on the left. Trauma breaks people, and they find their home on the left. Can these people be rebuilt? Maybe.
Where I'm unsafe or unwelcomed, like that's just straight up dangerous. But it's a mutual feeling. I don't like
unsafe because words make you feel unsafe, like we just heard with Jack Posobiec. Someone uses words I don't like, so then you get to escalate to violence because you feel unsafe. Okay.
Like the people here, they don't like me. I'm out of here. Today is my last day living, but it's such a
day is my last day living here.
Crazy time to move back to America with everything that's going on.
What do you mean everything that's going on? Kicking out the people that broke in? Oh no.
One of my family members sent me the story of the monkey paw before I came here, which is kind of like a be careful what you wish for story. It's about this magical monkey paw that grants wishes, but there's always a catch that comes with them. And I felt that coming here, and I'm kind of worried I might have that going back. Like, I'm moving to a city that is about to get raided by the military and ICE as I'm arriving. Like, that is so crazy.
Raided or saved?
But I feel so embarrassed because I'm like, bye America, bye friends, bye family. Like, I'm leaving and never coming back. And then a month later, I'm crawling back like Stassi Schroeder from Vanderpump Rules after her New York adventure where she's like, please take me back, take me back.
The comments here. Newsflash, liberals are hated around the world. Jamie says, we don't want her back. And why is she talking like a Valley girl? I know, the way she talks is just impossible. Chaotic says, don't quit. Try Pakistan. Go to Saudi Arabia. Go to Iran. They'd love your dragging fake accent.
Or like Alison De Laurentiis in PLL, where she like comes back later like a shell of the bitch she used.
Are you sure people don't like you because you're gay or something, or that they're phobic of who you love and it's not just your entire personality and your fake accent? Are you so sure? Are you sure it's not like just a whole bunch of MAGA people, or it's just like maybe you're not all that likable?
Used to be, but like kind of a nicer person, better person, because she got humbled by life. But it's such a crazy time.
I got humbled by life.
Actually, I'm Ebenezer Scrooge. This was my Christmas carol. I was very bah humbug, depressed in Seattle, ungrateful. And then I moved here and was like, wow, I am so privileged. And I reflected on my past, my present, future, realized this is not where I'm supposed to be to achieve my goals. And I have to get out of here. And, you know, it is embarrassing to like.
I'm well traveled, but also I had no idea Costa Rica was conservative. Says still. Official says, don't let her back in button. Yankee says, when people say they have trauma, I immediately stop listening. Yeah, we all have trauma.
Make a mistake and change, but
honestly, this is hilarious. Not honestly, but this is a good point. What a great ad to move to Costa Rica. The tourism department should use this.
It would be more embarrassing to like not change.
No take backs, you can have her.
You know, and just like stick with something that isn't working.
Why do they all talk like Valley girls? You're a grown adult, not a kid. It's honestly irritating. Her voice is effing annoying. Yeah, so maybe people didn't like you because of that terrible accent.
But yeah, very interesting experience. If you're an American or, you know, from the United States, excuse me, and you're leaving the country, just make sure you go somewhere where the locals will accept you and That was my biggest mistake, not leaving the country. If you feel like you should leave, absolutely do it. I totally understand that.
So that's all right. I found it a little bit more interesting than I did yesterday or 2 days ago. Here's a man that was given 6 points on his driver's license before he even has one because he used a skateboard without insurance. You don't drive a skateboard. That's crazy. This is the United Kingdom. No time to kick out the foreign-born military-aged invaders that are destroying your society, bankrupting your coffers, ruining your budgets, and abusing your women. Yeah, but make sure you make certain that this guy who's on a skateboard can't get a driver's license because he's on a skateboard without insurance. Okay. As part of my continuing trend to make sure that I'm going to play more Charlie Kirk videos than ever before in my life, which was almost never, if it strikes me as interesting, I will. Well, here's a conversation between Gavin Newscum and Charlie Kirk. I didn't watch this before, but you know, you do these interviews, you do these shows, and it leaves a legacy of thought behind.
I mean, how the hell do we compete?
No, you can't compete. And Charlie explains that to Gavin. Gavin, who has his legs crossed inexplicably. This strange hand motions, by the way.
We're toast.
Part of the problem of the Democrat Party, Democrats cannot survive in long-form podcasting environments.
Why?
It's too unscripted. It's too masculine, honestly. And the Democrat Party's become too
feminine. What is masculine about a podcast? Honestly, because I get the whole manosphere, this bro podcast
to go
stuff.
into the wilderness with no rules and duel it out and see who's better or who's stronger. No, seriously. I mean, like, what?
Democrats
No, I mean, like,
we don't do it. You're right. We, for whatever reason, don't do it.
You can laugh, but like, who in the Democrats?
It's not for whatever reason. There's an obvious reason. The obvious reason is that their ideas don't stand up to scrutiny.
Democrat Party.
We're not. You're right.
We'll go. I mean, maybe Bernie Sanders, but he only went for like an hour and a half.
when he was a Democrat.
Well, Bobby, who's now HHS, but like,
and you ran him out of your party.
Yeah.
There's something to be said that if you want to earn the respect of forgotten America, you have to show them that you can intellectually joust with no script, no hard breaks, no producers in the ears, no teleprompters. That's where new media is going. So what Democrats are doing is you're still playing in a very old, hyper-sanitized media environment.
Right.
And my advice is you got to go where it's unpredictable, where it's treacherous, where it's dangerous. Now, I would make a more provocative argument that you wouldn't necessarily resonate with, which is that you guys have not built the intellectual muscle over 30 years because you all agree with each other all the time.
Well, not like conservatives are massively disagreeing.
Well, in the Republican Party, we have immense and vocal and public spats all the time. I think you would agree. We fight about foreign policy.
And the Democrats, they take marching orders. They're not allowed to think, which is why you push Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. away. It's not sustainable. Like, it's more effective. It's a stronger hammer you get to smash people with, but it's your only tool.
Look at Ukraine, right? We're talking about primary challenging some of these senators that were meeting Zelensky last week.
I mean, how the hell do we compete?
Yeah, you can't compete. C3 says, want to see a judicial coup? The court injunctions. Biden had 14 of them in 4 years. Clinton had 12 of them in 8 years. Obama, 12 in 8 years. G.W. Bush, 6 in 8 years. President Trump has had 170 in only 4 years and 10 months. The judiciary is filled with leftist activists, just like the schools. Impeaching corrupt judges is a must. And yeah, this is good since people like to splice together clips to make Charlie Kirk look like a racist. Let's do the opposite. Here you go. Proving the opposite.
Some people only learn from small little clips, so let's play some small little clips.
Race is a social construct that I want to break out of.
I think skin color is irrelevant. Why do you care so much about it? And what are black values? You know what black values are? They're Christian because they're one of the most Christian populations in the country. I don't care if it's all black, all Asian, all white. It's an excellent group is what I want. Because I do not believe diversity is a strength. I believe unity is a strength. I think you should have a one-page bill that says that racial discrimination based on race is illegal and will not be tolerated in the United States of America. Charlie, Do you believe that black pilots can be qualified? Of course. I want a hiring quota and program that only cares about qualification, not skin color. Why does United Airlines care so much about the color of the pilot? How are you? What a beautiful kid that is.
Thank you.
What a gift
so
from God.
much.
Yeah.
She truly is.
White chocolate is here.
Hello, everybody.
This brother got more soul than a lot of people running around here acting like they brothers. He's a real brother. He was doing it. And he made sure that he brought a lot of us here, man.
And race should mean nothing. We should build around things that matter and not things that don't matter.
Charlie Kirk helped a lot of young blacks get to the White House. He changed a lot of their lives. A lot of them never imagined going to the White House. And Charlie helped hundreds of young black boys and girls go to the White House. Charlie, thank you for that.
Thank you, Charlie. I love this guy. Black America is a faithful community and a...
No music in a portion of the country with high church attendance. I've always had a focus and a heart for Black America because I believe that Black America could be and should be doing so much better in this country.
Of liberty.
Message of liberty, freedom, and one that resonates with core values that are shared in Black America.
Ever done for inner city Black America other than call me a white supremacist? What is a white supremacist?
A white supremacist is somebody who takes advantage and believes that they are higher than
everybody else. How do I believe that? I have no idea. Okay, exactly. And there's no evidence whatsoever. And yet people go around sloppily saying, you're a racist, you're a supremacist. It's so destructive to our dialogue, destructive to us coming together as a country. And there's nothing to support it whatsoever. So thank you for your time.
Like Larry Elder.
And shame on your father for peddling that crap. Yeah. There he is with Larry Elder, two people from my interview or my Teen Am Daily Show intro.
Like Dr. Ben Carson. Dr. Ben Carson. Yeah, Dr. Ben Carson.
Oh, yeah.
With a racist host the nation's largest young black leadership summit.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So at what point would I not be a racist then?
Yeah, at what point is he not a racist then? See, you guys try to take down my video and I made it better with more context, with more evidence that he's not a racist. I don't understand what it is. You guys can go online and look it up and see these things, and you have everybody in the world telling you, even my friends, I tell them, and it's like you guys are allergic to the truth. Like you can just click it and get on there and see it, but you won't and you don't, and I don't know why. But maybe these small mashed up clips is the only way the left learns. You know, some people only learn from small little clips.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. Where's the volume? Okay, Chad Crowley says, the absolute degeneracy of the modern West captured in a single scene. An Afghan invader scheduled for deportation months ago sexually assaults a young Irish girl while living in luxury at a public expense. The so-called refugee center where he is housed is in truth a commandeered hotel in the heart of Dublin, packed with over 2,000 foreign men of fighting age, fed, clothed, and sheltered by the very people they're displacing. Oh, they're being replaced and displaced. Yep. The state imports these men, parades their diversity as virtue, and compels the native population to fund its own subjugation through colonization and slow demographic extinction. The parasite contributes nothing, produces nothing, yet is held up as a symbol of progress, while the native Irish are told that resistance is not only hateful, but illegal. Outside, the people finally rise, and the police, funded by those that they oppress, form a cordon around the invaders' quarters, defending not Ireland, but the treachery committed against it. Why are these countries replacing their citizens? From anywhere. I don't know what country these people. Well, what did they say this one was from? Well, wherever they said. madness.
The time is 1:33.
Says this is happening all across Europe, says Aristotle. All of these migrants, they're military-aged males. The fact might be lost on native people, but it definitely isn't by whoever is funding this. They are now even banning people protesting outside of this London luxury hotel.
The 1st of August.
Why are they doing this?
Would anybody like to speak to me? The time.
Oh boy. Chief Stephen Sund put this out and says, Speaker Pelosi, ma'am, let me help refresh your memory. It was your Sergeant at Arms, SAA, who repeatedly denied my multiple requests for National Guard assistance before and on January 6th. Even on January 6th, your Sergeant at Arms denied my urgent requests for over 70 minutes while he was running it up the chain for your approval. The Pentagon offered National Guard assistance, but I had to decline because your SAA would not grant me the legal authority as required under federal law. These are Chief Sund's requests for National Guard support. Denied, 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 and then approved. 2:08 p.m. 3 days and 4 hours later. Former Chief of U.S. Capitol Police Stephen Sund brings receipts proving Nancy Pelosi lied on January 6th about the National Guard being called to the Capitol. We'll say, when will Pelosi be indicted for her treason? Feels like it's all coming out. Drip, 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 flood.
You're living
Charlie Kirk again.
through a moment where this is the most consequential historical climax, like, since the American Civil War. Yeah, and so it's like, it's a question, right? And I have no idea if we're going to win or not. So yeah, you have a thought?
Why don't we go on the offense?
We're trying, man. Why? That's a good question.
I like what you're the only one that I see.
Why don't you go on offense? And he says, I like what you're doing, but you're the only one I see staying on offense. Yeah, the Republicans are notorious for only playing defense. It's the most frustrating thing you could imagine.
Well, it's because thank you, and I'm not the only one. But let me tell you why. By the grace of God, I am not in federal prison. By the grace of God, I'm not indicted. That's not a joke. That's what these people do. Okay, pray for me every day, and pray, and you should, because there's only a few of us that actually play offense. James O'Keefe plays off. Yes. What happened? They removed him from his organization. He's under criminal investigation by the FBI and the Westchester DA. Steve Bannon plays off. He's going to go to federal prison next month. Tucker Carlson plays offense. They took him off air. Donald Trump plays off. He's facing 600 years in federal prison. That's why we don't play offense. Yeah. This story was buried. I'm going to talk about this next. These are 16 senior citizens. I'll tell you about Rose Rook, 81 years old, from Paw Paw, Michigan. She signed a piece of paper to become an alternate elector, her constitutional right with historical precedent. She's facing 120 years in federal prison. 81 years old. She has $30,000 to her name, and her husband died 10 years ago. And the Michigan AG is trying to show her as a domestic terrorist. She can't defend herself. The cruelty is the point. We are dealing with savages. This is not normal. This is ultra revolution time. Like, they are eating the country from within. The problem is they preempt us against offense, but that is not an excuse. We all have to play offense. We have to take the initiative. But here's the thing. We are not good offensive players. I'll prove it to you.
That's absolutely
because conservatives definitionally are defensive. We are conserving against their offense. Our temperament is to build businesses and churches and be agreeable. Our temperament, we don't think like revolutionaries. Well, we got to change that. My next book is literally called Right-Wing Revolution. Like, I'm trying to make people think in a way where we're trying to stop their refounding of America. So if you want, like, the good news of all this, the founders have given us this unbelievable opportunity. The fact that we still have some semblance of a constitution gives us hope. Like, if we did not have the founders, God bless them. Like, I'll give you an example. The Electoral College. If it was not for the Electoral College, this is game, set, match. We're done. Now we have a chance, right? A collection of states. It's still going to be very hard, right? But there's still hope, is what I'm saying. There's a roadmap. The founders saw this. They were like, we're going to make it really hard, not impossible, really hard to destroy this place, right? They put so many checks and balances in that think about how much we've survived, right? The fact that we still have to fight. And honestly, it's a gift from Madison, Hamilton, and Jay of how they saw this, right? Like I tell people, the North Star is our founding fathers. The North Star is our own documents. The North Star is the Declaration of the Constitution. Like, that's what we're trying to get back to. We're trying to defend that. So this is so interesting. I totally disagree because, and let me tell you, I got into a debate with an atheist. So he and it ties to this. Like, he said, okay, Charlie, I can't believe in God after the Holocaust. And I said, I can't believe in humanity. I said, I still believe in God. I've lost all faith in humans. So I want you to think about that, right? I have zero faith in humanity.
What humans did to Christ.
Yes, I mean, they didn't stop Mao, they didn't stop Hitler, they didn't stop Mussolini, they didn't stop, I'm not saying, you might be right. Now, but I am too, but I don't do hopium, right? I don't do hope, and opium feels good, it's really bad for you. You're living through a moment where this is the most consequential historical climax, like, since the American Civil War. Yeah, and it's a question, right? And I have no idea if we're going to win or not.
All right. It's just part of my ongoing effort to play more Charlie Kirk than ever before. It is consequential, and we have to stay on the good guys. All right, this is President Trump and Howard Lutnick here saying Walmart just paused their job offers to people who would need H-1B visas. Yeah, I went to Walmart over the past couple of years. I stopped going to Walmart. The people there, they were not employing people from my community. They were bringing in people from foreign lands to replace the people that they'd have to pay proper wages. I don't support that shit. I don't like that shit at all. I stopped going to Walmart. I used to go to Walmart from time to time. Nope. I guess you could say I made up with Target. They stopped pushing their stuff, and I started going back to Target. You look down all of the lines at Walmart. I mean, these were all foreign workers, modern day slaves trying to get the cheapest labor possible. Instead of hiring people from the local community that need work, they flew people in to replace the people that need work, to replace the local people in my community. So I stopped going to Walmart. They had so many shipping containers in the parking lot. I just started wondering, like, are people living out of these? Are they transferring humans? Because there's so much human smuggling over the 4 Biden nightmare years. It's modern day slavery, indentured servitude, slavery, human trafficking. And Walmart was supporting it. So I just said, I'm out. I'm done on Walmart. But here they're saying they're going to pause. They didn't stop it. They paused job offers to people who would need H-1B visas. This follows President Trump's new $100,000 visa fee, which is forcing companies to think twice before hiring foreign workers over Americans. This proves they were never essential. Now's the time to hire Americans.
$1,000 a year, so either the person is very valuable to the company and America, or they're going to depart and the company's going to hire Americans, and make sure the people coming in are the top people. Stop the nonsense of letting people just come into this country on these visas that were given away for free. $100,000 a year, so either the person is very valuable to the company and America, or they're going to depart and the company's going to hire Americans, and make sure the people coming in are the top people. Stop the nonsense of letting people just come into this country on these visas that were given away for free. $100,000 a year, so either the person is very valuable to the company and America, or they're going to depart and the company's going to hire American.
There we go. Yeah. Companies are adhering to the rules now. It's amazing what can happen when you actually have leadership. Hire Americans, don't replace Americans. This isn't complicated. All right, we're seeing all of these crash out videos about EBT, about free money. What's going on?
I just woke up. I got an email from EBT.
And I don't know, is this a real video or is this a skit?
I used to get $740 a month for my 2 kids. And we not getting EBT no more. They took the EBT. They saying I gotta work 20 hours a week. I'm not working for nobody. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm sorry, we need to get the fuck out of here because you won't work.
This is what Americans, taxpayer, work for us. Us. They work for me. They gotta help me feed my fucking kids. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be quick.
No, I don't know what you're saying.
This now, y'all been helping us all this fucking time. Now y'all want to tap out. Get the fuck out of here. I want my EBT, yo. I want my EBT, and I'm not working for nobody. I'm a fucking boss. What the fuck I look like working when the government is here to help? Come on, y'all send all that money to Iraq, Ukraine. Y'all funding all these wars, but when it's time to help the Americans, y'all don't want to fucking help us. I just woke up. I got an email from. I need my fucking EBT, yo. I need my money, yo. I need my fucking EBT.
These crash out videos are everywhere today.
Stop fucking playing with me, yo. I need my fucking EBT, yo. I need my money, yo. I need my fucking EBT.
What's to say? No, we wanted to never start. We're tapping out by force now. Now we know who can work and who chooses not to. The fatigue is indeed palpable. You need a job button. The entitlement is wild. Whew, boy. Adult male who refuses to work. David Medina here reporting, wow, as soon as the courts allow President Trump to send federal troops to Portland, Oregon, the Antifa encampment outside of the ICE facility is suddenly being cleaned up. No way. Come here.
It's time to clean up.
It's time to clean up. I like the song. John, you said, yep, you remember when Charlie did that interview. I remember when they did it, I just didn't watch it. Like I said, I met Charlie. I interviewed him briefly. I got to do a guest spot on the network that he was on Real America's Voice in the Bronx. I didn't consume a lot of his content. I didn't go to Turning Point USA events. It was there, and there was one in Florida that I was like, oh, I should go. And I'm like, no, dude, you can't go to every event yet. You've put out a beta test of who you are and what you're capable of. Yes, you can go. This isn't the one to go to. And it's, maybe I wish I would have. No. But that being said, I remember when that video came out, but I really have no interest in listening to Gavin Newsom. I had to live under that bullshit for however many years we overlapped out there in California. Geez, I remember meeting Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa, Tony Villar. Yeah, I watched that interview. I know I saw the interview occurred. I just didn't watch it. But yeah, I'm glad I did watch a little bit of it there. But hey, look at this. All you need is a little bit of leadership, and now you're going to clean up the trash. Nasty Nancy probably was there.
Smile, you're on candid camera. You know it's a job, sir. You know you could just get a different job. It's a choice. It's literally a choice. You chose. So don't take it up.
It's time to clean up. It's time to clean up.
Good. And by the way, these cleanup efforts should be given. You shouldn't pay people to do this. This should be people who make a mistake. They do something they shouldn't have done. They didn't hurt anybody. They definitely didn't hurt anybody intentionally. This isn't for everybody, but non-violent offenders who find themselves in a jackpot, or people, maybe you do pay people if you try to get people up on their feet. You try to get the junkies, the addicts who are out there as they're trying to do work release. They're trying to get out of their involuntary commitment, because you don't just get to be a bum and a junkie destroying your street. You should be paid to clean up the streets, power wash, clean up the trash, beautify. What happened to beautification of our cities? Anyway, I just think people should, you're speeding, you get a ticket. All right, I don't need $387. Come on out for 4 hours. Come on out for 8 hours. Come on out every Saturday for 4 hours for the next month and a half, and you don't have to pay us back the $700 of, like beautification, whatever it is. I don't know the numbers, and I'm just throwing it out there. But it's overdue. Shame on Oregon for letting it get so bad. Here's a story that's saddening. Pastor in Nigeria kidnapped and cayed after ransom was paid for his release. Pastor James Andrew Issa. Rest in peace. That is, if this is a real story. Let me ask Grok. I'm not familiar with the source, so I don't trust it. Nigerian pastor, evangelical church, winning all. Prominent Protestant denomination. Life and ministry cut short by a brutal kidnapping and murder amid ongoing banditry and religious tensions in the region. Yeah, it's not Christians killing their neighbors, it's the Muslims killing their neighbors. Is there anywhere that Christians are killing Jews or killing Muslims? Or is it almost always Islamists killing Christians, Jews, etc.? Point to a country. Tell me where it's Christians killing in the name of Christianity. I don't know if that's a thing. Because if it is, then it's against the teachings of Christ, which makes it unchristian. But if you're waging a holy war that's commanded to you by your holy book, that's something different. Rest in peace, Pastor James Audu Issa. Shame on them. That is a real story. All right. Was that the last story in my stack? No, it was not. The Scottish Korean. This guy's very interesting. He's asking if the London mayor is perverted.
The mayor covering up child grooming gangs.
Are you not listening? It's the sort of gangs that groom young girls at a young age for sex. Exactly how much clearer do you want me to be?
Can she define what she means by that?
Yes, if you look at what's gone on in Rotherham, where there are people taking young girls, grooming them for sex. That is what I'm talking about.
We know in London there are issues about exploitation of young people, but they're not as defined by the member in her definition of what those types of gangs are.
So are you saying we haven't got the same sort of gangs that are in Rotherham, Bradford and lots of other places in the country?
Just for your misunderstanding, what does she mean by that?
You know full well what I mean by that. It's all over the television. You know exactly what I mean by that. These gangs of people that are grooming young girls for sex. Do we actually have those in London?
I'm unclear to what is meant by the question. If you could spell it out, I can answer.
I've just spelt it out. Are you not listening? It's the sort of gangs that groom young girls at a young age for sex. Exactly how much clearer do you want me to be?
If Koreans are making up 90% of the child grooming gangs in London, then we take responsibility as a peoples. I'm not going, oh, but there's some nice Koreans. I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on with our culture? I'm thinking, deport all Koreans. My mom, dad, cow, whatever it takes. We take responsibility as a people and take action. These people, they're ashamed of nothing and offended by everything. Whereas with Orientals, we're ashamed of everything and offended by nothing. Why is our London mayor covering up child grooming gangs?
Are you not?
Yep. Defend Europe while you still can. This is a good one. Officer Tatum here.
So the question is, where did they get the footage from? Fake news MSNBC got totally busted lying about the size of the No Kings rally.
Look at this. Millions of people across the country marching as we speak against the policies of President Trump. This is Boston. Look at that. We'll continue to follow these rallies throughout the day here on MSNBC. Wow.
It is Boston, but it's not October 18th, 2025. It's August 19th, 2017 at a totally different counter rally. So real footage, fake news.
And this is what they do. They're propagandists. Think about this for a sec. Donald Trump won in a landslide after he had been called Hitler and everything else for I don't know how many. They indicted him. 34 felonies. I mean, all the stuff that January 6th, all the stuff that they did. And he still won by a landslide. Now, what make you think that somehow Donald Trump has lost support? Because what has he done outside of promoting peace? What has he done outside of, shutting down immigration and illegals coming into our country? What has he done besides help the economy grow? And yeah, there's some struggles with some of the tariffs, but at the same time, we believe that he's working towards something that's going to benefit the United States of America. Cutting taxes, all the things that we need in our country is what Donald Trump represents. And then you say, if he don't represent that, who is their representative? Who is their representative? Put the track record up against Trump versus anybody that they have on the table. So the question is, where did they get the footage from?
Fake news MSNBC got told.
Okay, but hold on. We put this here as a fake news alert. MSNBC did not lie about the No Kings rally footage from Boston on October 18, 2025. The footage was not from 2017, but was verified as live from 25 by multiple local broadcasts and fact checkers. They list Snopes, PolitiFact, and BBC, which I don't really value. They said a false claim started on X, amplified by conservative influencers in an early AI error, but was debunked with evidence of the rally's large turnout and matching visuals. So we debunked something here, Officer Tatum. We debunked something today. When you get to debunk a debunker.
Friend.
David Harris Jr. talks about the 11 times the Republicans have voted to open the government, and it's the Democrats who are just going all in on stupid.
Every single Republican senator has voted not once, not twice, but 11 times to reopen the government.
Now the longest full shutdown in history, but everybody here has voted now 11 different times to open up the government, and we are going to keep voting to open up the government, and eventually the Democrats, hopefully sooner or later, are going to come around.
Hopefully they will come around, friends. Republicans, they vote yes and say, let's open the government. Democrats vote no and then blame Republicans. You can't make this stuff up. Bottom line, this shutdown isn't about funding. It's not about the budget. It's not even about border security at this point. It's about one thing, power. And the Democrats know that if President Trump keeps delivering results, they'll be toast in 2026. So they'd rather just shut it all down and let Trump keep winning. So to our law enforcement, our military, our TSA agents, hold the line. The American people see you. We appreciate you. And we stand with you. We don't back down, and neither does our president. And to Democrats in Congress, we see right through you.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and keep burying your political career if you must, or act like an adult. Get back to work for the people that actually elected you, and make some attempt to be the leader that you were elected to be. And leave the fairy tale of pandering to potential illegal immigrant voters in the dust where it belongs. Friends.
All right. Here's another one. Islamic terrorists behead over 30 Christians in Mozambique. Let me ask Grok about this one. "30 Christians beheaded in Mozambique." Question mark. Yes. Doggone it. Gotta save those Christians. Islamic State, Mozambique, an affiliate of ISIS, targeting Christian communities in Cabo Delgado and Nampula provinces. The attacks also involved the destruction of at least 7 churches. You know what? When is enough going to be enough? Yeah, friends don't let friends be Democrats. But what about murderous Islamists? Destroyed 7 churches, arson of 100 homes, shootings, displacements of tens of thousands of people. Violence is part of an ongoing Islamist insurgency that began in 2017 that's killed over 6,200 people, displaced more than 1 million, according to UN estimates. Well, okay, well, why isn't somebody pushing back on these Islam attacks? Yeah, over the past couple weeks. This is terrible. Why aren't the killers being killed? Why isn't the international community killing the terrorists? What's Grok going to say? Ongoing military operations are happening, but they're not eradicating the threat. Ugh. Okay, well, this is another true story. Doggone it. Where is the pushback? Okay, well, that's true too. Here's a comparison. Muslims taking over the United Kingdom, taking over the streets, no arrest. But here's a singular Christian woman arrested for praying silently.
In prayer, which is the offence.
The offence of prayer.
No, but you are still engaging in prayer. It is an offence.
I disagree.
Okay then. So you would rather that you be arrested and taken away than stand outside the exclusion zone? Is that what you're saying?
Are those the only two alternatives?
Yes.
I don't think I'm being I'm not protesting.
Engaging in prayer, which is the offence.
It's silent prayer.
No, but you are still engaging in prayer.
You are still engaged in prayer. Europe. Resist or grab your ankles forever. This is madness. Was that a little too crass? I don't think so. Okay, ICE supporters shared this. Here's an Islamist preacher in America claiming if a woman is captured in war, she becomes a slave and can be sexually abused because it is halal. This primitive and dangerous mentality has no place in modern society, and especially in America. Deport them. Is this real?
Is have intimacy with a slave, not adultery and halal, but having intimacy with a non-slave, adultery.
I think I know.
That's an easy question. If no one else been able to answer that, I don't know which imams you've been hanging out.
Maybe because it's a weird question.
That's a weird question, but it's easy. Let's take it back a step. When you have an intimate relationship with your wife or a woman with her husband, is that adultery? Well, no. Why is it not adultery? Because Allah made it halal. That's why. Right? Why is it that if somebody is not married and they have intimate relations, marital relations, that's considered zina, adultery, because Allah made that haram? That is the line between halal and haram. Zina and not zina, adultery and not adultery, right? So, Allah made the spousal relations between a husband and wife halal. And Allah made that those people taken under war, not regularly under war, as captives who were trying to kill you, that now you're going to support and keep in your house and spend on and treat well, that this is like a wife. This is somebody who you can...
you're going to kidnap someone and treat them well. That's like your wife. No, the fuck it's not.
Have those relationships with.
Are we living in a cuckoo clock? I've been called a racist because of my skin color for shit I never did. And this shit is allowed in modern day society. Someone speaking like this, putting these garbage views out there. I am living in a cuckoo clock. Thanks, Obama. That's a nice callback if you didn't get the reference or the joke. This is an ongoing joke. But in this case.
So if Allah made it halal, that is not zina. That is not adultery because Allah made it halal. That's the line. Such an easy question and try to make it seem like as if it's difficult. Go ahead.
How is...
Good God. We put a clown face over his face. Is that appropriate? I think so. David Harris.
Now let's take a look at what the left really believes. Not some peaceful protest about democracy or fairness. No, it's pure, unfiltered rage, threats, violence, and chaos wrapped up in slogans that sound more like a bad episode of Law & Order, woke edition. They're not here to debate, friends. They're here to burn it all down. And they're not even subtle about it anymore.
Who are you going to kill?
Nazis.
Who do you define as a Nazi?
What do you mean? It's pretty...
In this context, who's a...
It's pretty straightforward. No, I don't. I've never met a Nazi in my entire life. Like Scott Adams says that the Democrats... Oh, how does he phrase it? He says like they have fake problems or they fight fake enemies. Like all of their problems are imaginary. Various versions of that. I've never met a Nazi. Don't even know what this person's talking about.
a Nazi?
Stephen Miller's a Nazi.
So you're going to kill Stephen Miller?
If I had a chance, yeah, I would.
I don't know if that's something I'd say on camera, bro.
So for a birthday
No, not something good to say on camera, bro.
present, what do you hope happens? You know, you wake up tomorrow morning.
I hope that I see the obituary that we're all waiting for tomorrow. That's what I hope for.
The obituary that we're all waiting for tomorrow. Ha 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 ha! Laugh, laugh, laugh. What are you talking about?
You wishing that President Trump is dead?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
These people are sick, friends. They're sick in the head. It's absolutely unbelievable. Let's be clear, friends. That's not protest. That's terrorism. They scream about democracy dying while calling for the assassination of our president. And they mock Charlie Kirk's murder. These aren't peaceful protesters. These are angry, mentally unstable mobs throwing a tantrum because they're not in charge. Now let's take a look.
True. That's what we said. There's no getting along with the left. They must be demolished politically. We must repair our schools and the media to accomplish this. And that goes in direct conflict with what I said earlier. It was like, oh, well, that conversation with that guy on the truck, he was a, perhaps a good guy that was let down by God and turned atheist, but like some people are redeemable. I find it difficult to continue seeking redeemable qualities from people that are acting in an irredeemable way. It's nearly impossible to try to play nice with people that want you dead. When I say nearly impossible, you might just assume I mean impossible. But I guess there's always hope for some of us. All right. That's what I had prepared for you today. Thank you for joining us on the TNAM Daily Show. Reminder that Super Chats and what was the other one? Rumble Rants are open. Confirmed that Rumble Rants work. Thank you very much. You can subscribe to us on Patreon or YouTube or Rumble. And then we have, what is the other one? Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. Direct to my name. Those ones don't take out fees, by the way. So that's a perfect place to donate. But yeah, so programming note, we're going to have our episode of Strictly, no, not that graphic. Strictly Football tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern with Mike Barra, Jim Mitchell, Ezrael Robinson, and myself. That's Strictly Football tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Season 2, episode, 8 or 9. Something like that. So we'll be back doing that show tomorrow. Thank you all for being here. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Show your love however you can. Oh, yeah. Yeah, please do so. But I did. Oh, you know what? I do have a lot of stuff on X, but I do have a lot on X. I also have a lot. People have sent me this multiple times. Oh, there are so many crash out videos about EBT cards on our X feed. Here, let me show you one more. People are sharing this and people wanted me to talk about it. Larry Elder shared this and said, this is socialism. Yeah, there's we're old enough to remember 2001 where Islam targeted New York City and destroyed it. Mamdani is targeting New York City to destroy it. Oh, hold on. I wanted to go back. Wait a minute. Where's the... It wouldn't let me go back. That was weird. We said allegiances have been formed between the American left, Islam, communism, and others. Look to London to see if you'd like to see New York City fundamentally changed. Is Mamdani inevitable? Yeah, I would love to see Cuomo drop out and endorse Sliwa. I don't think Sliwa should drop out and endorse Cuomo. Pool your resources together, take down Mamdani, and save New York. You do not want London to replace New York. Sleeper cells, an invasion. 40 million illegal alien invaders. Our country's in a much different spot than we were in 2001. Military-aged men pre-positioned across the country, maybe waiting for a signal to try to take over this country once and for all. So if self-preservation is an instinct that you possess, I suggest you do what I say when I say it. My help isn't wanted here, gentlemen. Good day. That's from the Wolf in Pulp Fiction. But if you do what I say when I say, you might just get out of this. So please, so pretty please, with sugar on top, clean the effing car. Socialism crashing into New York City. I want our great American cities to be restored. But, you know, we'll see. These elections are coming up all over the place real soon. I feel like we've been cheated out of a couple of red waves. Sure could use another one this season. Fingers crossed. All right. Well, that's what I have to share for you at the moment. Signing out for now. And I'll be back again tomorrow at noon. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Go have the best doggone Wednesday imaginable. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care, everyone. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.